Okay. Hi. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. I put out a newsletter. I did a video newsletter today. I did a new intro that was really pretty. Made sure I updated the intro. And then the one thing I forgot to do was update an overlay and have like a cute overlay. Rats. I knew I was forgetting something. I knew I was forgetting something. Anyway, it's fine. Whatever. You'll have to make do with just the lower third and not the cute little overlay this time around. Okay. So welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary live. Yes, we are really live this time around. I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and psychic, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Wow. Okay. I'm just going to let the comment assistant pop up there with that beautiful comment from Sophia. Just finished both podcast episodes. Amazing as always. Now I have to ask Sophia, both podcast episodes as in Cardslingers and my standalone podcast that apparently no one knew about because I don't promote myself as much as I do the Cardslingers. Say yes, say no in the chat. And also I'm going to show your hello. Yeah, we are getting podcast heavy in this episode because if you were here for the intro or the pretty intro that I have, by the way, I lowered the volume on the intro because that is the feedback I got for the video newsletter that I did. I had a couple of my friends like listen to it or watch it to make sure the link was working so that it was watchable because I had a hell of a time downloading it and then try and upload it. It's not a supported file type in MailChimp. So I'm like, oh, I work so hard on this. Like, how do I just make this simpler? Because it's just like, I'm not losing this. I nearly just went with my standard format and just, called it a wash. But like, I kept with it. I finally figured it out. And hopefully you all can see the video newsletter if you happened to see it. I only published it like maybe 10 minutes before this episode. So this newsletter this month has taken everything out of me. I'm not going to lie about it or apologize about it. It's just true. So Sophia, yes, Cardslingers and the solo show. Wonderful. Like, I hope you guys got a lot out of that solo show. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about that. So Sophia is here. Katie is here. The gang's all here. I was actually going to go pour myself a glass of wine. And then I sat here, I looked at the time and I was just like, no, I'm already 3 minutes late. It's fine. It's fine. Unless, of course, I can convince Mr. Tarot by Hilary to open a bottle of wine and pour me one. But I don't have anything chilling right now. I have it in its cardboard. So never mind. Maybe I'll grab myself a beer instead. I'm not even joking. Like, I really hope you guys enjoy this version of the newsletter because I worked hard on it. I worked really hard on it. But I wanted to mention about this solo podcast that I have. So podcasting on my own was kind of like my pandemic. I'm going to do this. Like while I'm home, might as well put my effort into this hobby. And it's just like, well, podcasting on my own can't be that hard. And I kind of want to have my own podcast because I do love the Cardslingers. And don't get me wrong, this is not portending the end of Cardslingers Coast to Coast. We're fine. We're good. We're all good. We all love each other. And we also took a pact with each other that at the moment it stops being fun for one of us, we're done. We haven't gotten to that point yet, which is great. And, our gentle ribbing of each other, it's so funny that apparently the feedback that we've gotten was like, are you guys okay? Like, are you Melissa and Hilary, are you guys friends? Like, are you all right? Because apparently Melissa says, apparently often on the podcast, like, Jamie, you're great. Hilary, you're okay. And I know it for what it is, which is just playful ribbing. And, honestly, my Aries ego, can stand to be taken down a peg or two at times. So, but, the fact that we had that feedback, it's just like, we're fine. We're fine. We might have to do like not necessarily a podcast episode on it, but we might have to touch upon it. But Melissa actually did a gram of Insta live earlier today, and I happened to catch it, and I was like poking in the comments, being the asshole that I am, and she was just like, she addressed it on that live. It's just like, we're fine. We're fine. Yeah. So Katie is voting for the wine and that I need a glass. I would agree with you, but it's not chilled. I'd prefer it to be chilled. I'm bougie in that way. Sophia says, Mom and Mom are fighting. Mom and Mom are fighting. Yeah, we can do that from time to time. I think that's what we're becoming. Like Melissa is the only one with children out of the three of us. Jamie and I are childless. But Jamie just got adopted two kitties, brother and a sister, snowshoe. I think that's what snowshoe cats. Beautiful, cute little balls of marshmallow fluff. They're adorable. And apparently one of them chewed through her headphones wire at the start of the day before we recorded the latest episode that is not out yet. So it's just like animal hijinks back in their households. Me, I don't have pets. I just love everybody else's. I'm the auntie, but I think we do have that like tarot mom energy. Children are not. So Katie says, you all sound fine on the podcast to me. Well, I mean, because like I guess some people are used to our energy or voices, and when we're really beefing with each other and when we're not, which like you're not going to hear that on the podcast because we're not. So but I don't know, I guess people misinterpret. And Sophia says, they are adorable, aren't they like really freaking cute? They're really like squishy and cute. And I think the boy has a pure white face and the girl has like markings, like grayish kind of charcoaly markings on her face. They are adorable. They're really cute. I got distracted. What were we talking about? Oh, alcohol. But the reason for the alcohol or needing to have a glass, just take the edge off, was if you are not a newsletter subscriber, you won't know. But actually, I think I made this particular edition of the newsletter public, so you can find it on Twitter. You can find it on the Book of Face. You can find it on Twitter and the Book of Face, I think, are the two social links that you can find the newsletter on. But yeah, I got feedback from one of my regulars that I've been working with for years on like, you're so personable on camera or on video or in person, and you don't really quite convey that in written format. And I'm like, okay, as a writer, kind of ouch, but as a live streamer, and we are going to be talking about some of these kind of concepts in this episode on podcasts and podcasting. As a live streamer and a podcaster, like, I kind of get it. I get it. If you don't attend these lives, or people don't know that I do these, or people aren't aware of my Tube of You channel, then they might not know. And so they are only getting a piece of my personality from my writing alone. So she recommended, like, hey, why don't you do a video version? And my video version, I think, is around 16 minutes in length. Could it be shorter? Absolutely. Yeah, it could. I think I got distracted and I rambled a little bit. So I didn't keep quite to talking points. So next time around, I'll do talking points and I'll tighten it up, make it a little bit shorter. But I mean, and that is only one person's opinion. Like, Like, I love this client, by the way, and I didn't take it too personally. I understand what she was saying, and hey, it's an experiment. If people don't like the vlog, they'll let me know. I'm open to feedback either way. You like the edition, I'll keep going with it. I might do a hybrid kind of thing, or if you hate it, we'll go back to the written format. I don't mind either way, but I'm open to experimentation. So I'm just looking at what Sophia is saying in the chat. I appreciate that. I strongly disagree. I love the written newsletter. The video was also great. Oh my God, you had time? You had time to look at the before you came on here? All right, good for you. I appreciate it. By the way, Sophia is also a tarot reader, so you may want to reach out to her. If you don't want a reading with me, but you want a reading with Sophia, Sophia, feel free to drop the link in the chat. I don't usually, you're not a spammer, so I don't usually encourage promoting yourself in like my live streams, but like with my permission, you can totally do it. You have my permission. Same thing for Zuri. If Zuri is floating around and hasn't commented yet, for her live sales, like, drop it in. Like, we're a community. Apparently, like, here's the thing. And we're gonna talk about this. I need my planner because I have everything planned up until the end of August for our Friday night shows. So that's exciting too. We're a community. Like, I'm a 4/6 manifester. I've talked a little bit about human design before. That's going to be one of the upcoming episodes because I say so. I'm interested in human design. So really quickly, Sophia says, thank you for the plug. And here is her information that she's dropped into the chat, benevolentcorvus.com, if you would like to book with her. And also a reminder, if you want to book with me, tarotbyhilary.com. That is the way to work with either of us. So anyway, 4/6 manifester. Apparently that's one of my traits as a 4/6 manifester in human design, is that I bring people together. I talked a little bit about this on a gram of Insta live that I did off the cuff. I just started talking about human design. I started the live wanting to talk about one thing, and I ended up talking about another thing, which unsurprising. Oh, so Sophia's website is this. Sophia's Instagram is this. So, but I'm sure you can also find her for, oh shoot, I said it. Gram of Insta. I'm sure you can find her social media accounts when you go to her website. I know I have all of my social media stuff onto my website. That's the reason why it's just easier to direct people to our main website, so that it's just like, here's everything. Here's the hub. You can click on this to go out, to branch out. Anyway, human design, 4/6 manifestors are meant to bring people together. They connect people. Not only do they kind of manifest a community around them and cultivate a community around them, but they also like kind of like match people to each other. Like, hey, you should talk, like, Sophia, you need to talk to Katie, or, you know, Lily, you need to talk to, like, have you met Gala, you know, like, and bringing people together. It's kind of like metaphysical matchmaking in a way. Oh, and there's no shame, by the way. These are the things that I need to learn as well, is that I think I'm talking too much about certain offers. And apparently with the whole podcast, we'll talk about it in the main crux of this episode, is that I thought I was talking about it a lot. And I did a poll on the gram of Insta, and 75% of people didn't know that I had my own standalone podcast. 75%. So I'm like not shy about promoting Cardslingers Coast to Coast that I do with 2 other people, but yet I'm shy about plugging my own work. Like, that's weird. That's kind of weird. But also I found that happening with a lot of people too, where it's just like that weird squeaky shameless self-promo over. Like, shameless, shameful, like just take that out of the equation. Like you should be able to toot your own horn and promote yourself because I mean, I don't know. It's weird, we're not cultivated to brag, you know. Like even the word brag has negative connotations, but it's just like for some stuff, like if we're good at something, like why not have the confidence to own that? Not in a like a hubris way or a bravado way, but like, you know, a little humility, a little self-confidence, a nice blend of both, right? Uh so Katie says do it, Sophia. So do it. You have my permission. As long as you're not coming in here and saying, Dr. So-and-so had a love spell and cured me of my erectile dysfunction. Like, you've seen the difference between spammers and what I'm offering up here, where it's just like, feel free to promote yourself here. If I say you have permission to do so. Like, Katie, if you have anything that you're offering right now, feel free to put it into the chat. But like, don't do it unsolicited. All right? Okay. Absolutely. We should be allowed to show ourselves without feeling like we are bragging. I agree, but it's a lot of conditioning that you need to get through. And hey, you guys know that I'm an EFT practitioner now, certified EFT practitioner in the Gala Darling method. Tap on that shit, right? We were going to this week, a few of us were going to tap on like money shame or, like shame, financial shame. And we just didn't get around to it. And there was a reason for that. But yeah, I mean, it's not just because we didn't get around to it this week doesn't mean that it's off the tapping table. We'll probably cover it. Yeah, we should be able to be proud of it. So if you are new to these episodes, we do these episodes every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about different metaphysical topics. But sometimes I'll talk about other things like by popular request or about divination or magic or spell casting or spirit boards or charm casting or different divination systems as well. Like I think I've done an episode on Lenormand. I think I've done an episode on oracle decks and the differences between tarot, Lenormand, and oracle decks. That was an earlier episode. And by the way, we are going to have an anniversary episode coming up at the end of August. Do you know how many years I've been doing this now? Do you know how many years that I've been doing this live stream? Drop your guesses into the chat. Drop your guesses. I am going to put up a timer and I'm going to go run and get a drink. It might not be an alcoholic drink, but I need some kind of drink because I started it. Katie guessed right away. Because some of you have been around from the very beginning. You're correct. 3 years. It's coming up on the 3 years, which means we're entering our 4th year as of September. Yay, anniversary. Yeah. And I would encourage you, like, especially in the spirit of this, of the topic tonight about podcasting, I would encourage you to go back into the archives or the replays for past episodes, like go back to some of them and you let me know. You let me know how confident or not confident I look and sound. It's crazy. Aw, Katie, that's because I've been loving you all that time. Aw, thank you. And Sophia says, that's wild. Yeah, it is wild. So structure of these episodes that we've been doing for 3 years in August is we start the episode with, lead-ins, highs, hellos, how you doings. I'll wait for that comment to pop up before I continue. Yeah, good work. I mean, my work is good, thank you. And I do have the sentiment that good work always gets found. However, there is a bit of marketing that does have to go into it. And I still have to put up these Instagram squares that that Cardslingers Panda made for me about Field of Dreams is a big fat fucking lie. You know, that quote from Field of Dreams, which I've never seen, which is, if you build it, they will come. Like, that's freaking bullshit. You know, like, if you build it, they might not come because they don't know. I mean, the standalone podcast is a great example of that. You know, so, and I think that people have bought in to that, where it's just like, I'll build it, and then somehow by osmosis, people will know that I've made this thing. And it's just like, that's not how it works. It's just not. That's very generous, but that feels a little culty. I have said that I will drink any Kool-Aid that you offer, LOL. Though I do have the charisma of a cult leader, I guess. This is a great quote from New Girl, by the way. If you've ever watched New Girl, it's like one of my favorite comfort rewatches. I think I've seen it about 8 times now, all the way through, all 7 seasons. And there's an episode of a bar crawl that Nick does, and it just becomes this bigger thing. And Schmidt basically says to him, like, I had no idea that you had the charisma of a dirty-footed cult leader. It makes me laugh every single time. Yes, exactly. Katie's right. Still need to market it. Absolutely. But like, there's proof right there for the standalone podcast. 75% of people did not know that I had a standalone podcast. So like, now I'm going to get annoying about it. I don't care, because, you know, I do believe that good work gets found, but I also believe you do have to market yourself, and you've got to get comfortable with marketing yourself. And there is a way to do it without being sleazy or scummy or used car salesman-y. But you do have to kind of believe in yourself. Like, I had no problem selling things when I was in independent retail because I loved the products that I was selling. And I was a buyer for that store too. So the things that we were stocking in the store were things that I had personally selected on buying trips to either the Philadelphia Market of American Crafts, which was our favorite show that we would go to because it was all like handmade stuff, and also the New York Gift Show. Like, we were selecting things straight from the artists or straight from the manufacturers that would be curated well or work well in the curation that was the store that I was working at. So it was really easy for me to sell those things because I believed in those things, and I believed in the story behind those things. Like, a certain potter would put a metallic sheen when firing the kiln, and it would create these beautiful refractions of color. Like, that's a story that goes with that piece of pottery. But so you're not really purchasing the piece of pottery, you're purchasing the story of the creation of that piece of pottery. Pretty easy for me to do when I'm selling something that I love. But then I have to go back to my own self-love, because when I'm promoting myself, I'm selling myself, you know? I gotta love what I'm selling. That means I gotta love myself enough to be confident in what I'm selling. Makes sense, everyone? Ooh, that we got really esoteric marketing there. So back to the structure of the episodes. Geez. Bread. Astrology at the front from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. Topic at hand is the meat of the episode, and then we end with the last slice of bread with the weekend forecast, which is either a tarot or an oracle card that I pull to get you and see you through the weekend. I mean, honestly, I can't even believe that it's Friday. Like, this week went so quickly, and I feel like I barely did anything this week. Even though I know I accomplished a lot, it doesn't feel like that, and it's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I did good work today, though. I had a phone reading for someone that has never had a tarot reading before, and I think I might have blown her mind, which is awesome. And it's just so gratifying to be able to read for people, and help people in that way, and also encouraging them in their own intuition. that's like the best. And that's the reason why I start and end every episode with, you have intuition too. Like, connecting you with your gift of your intuition, because I believe everybody has intuition. Like, y'all know it if you've been watching this for 2 years or 3 years, the start, or halfway through. I really do believe that everybody has intuition. So, yes, that's true, Sophia. Those are always too much fun. Blank canvas. Yeah, they're going in it with they're going into it without too many expectations. And also, I really like to set expectations at the start of a reading, especially if it's their first tarot reading. Like, here's how I work. And even if they've had a tarot reading before, but it's with a different reader, I will still manage expectations and be like, here's how I read tarot. Like, you might have a different experience because you were with a different reader, or you've had readings from different people. Here's how I work. And I won't start the reading until, it's clear what those expectations are, because you set those expectations. If you don't set those expectations, you're aiming for problems later on. You really are, and this business is weird. It's really weird. It's not usually like, there's always going to be issues with business or problems with business that are the same across different businesses, but this particular field has its own unique sets of challenges. But managing expectations up front can help you in the long run. It helps you to fire less clients. It helps you to not be bending over backwards for people, or feeling like you're stretched too thin with people. It's very helpful to manage expectations up front. It just is. Katie says, I think our energies and intuition also get together in these lives too. Yes, absolutely. I agree. And Sophia says, I usually ask party guests if they want the spooky or the supportive or a hybrid. That's great. My work here is done. I'm kidding. Spooky, supportive, or a hybrid. I mean, like, that's great. I mean, you can kind of get a feel for it if, like, you ask them, like, do you want me to be in costume? Like, what's the physical expectations? Like I've done parties before, and I've been like, do you want a clean table, or do you want crystals all over it, or crystal ball? Like, I mean, I have crystal balls. There's one crystal ball I have that I got in a rock crystal shop in Pike's Place Market in Seattle many, many years ago, over 15 years ago. And I thought I needed to get a crystal ball that was completely clear. And as it turns out, you don't want a completely clear crystal ball. You want one with occlusion so that you can see more. So, but for ambiance, I will take that clear crystal ball and put it out on my reading table. I'm not going to use it because I'm a tarot reader, but it helps with the ambiance. But sometimes even asking about the ambiance, you get a sense of what they want, or what the client wants, or what the host or hostess wants. But I like your question too. Do you want the spooky? Do you want the supportive? Do you want a hybrid? Do you want a conversational? I try and keep things as light as possible during my party readings, especially if it's a certain kind of party. Like, I did readings at, I think I've done readings all over the place, like family reunions, bridal shower, baby shower, birthday parties, bachelorette. Haven't done a wedding. Would love to do a wedding, but also, like, kind of like what if I see something bad, but Jenna Matlin's have Tarot Will Travel is a great primer on doing events and the sticky wickets that come up with doing certain events. But yeah, I usually keep it pretty light, and depending on when I get a head count for people, because people know, like, the hosts know who's going to be the first in line at your table, and who's going to be giving you, like, the sign of the cross, and over, like, way as far away from you as they can be. They get a sense. So it's just like, about how many people are you looking, or are you thinking will want a reading? And then I'll break up the time that I'm being asked to do into however many readings that I'm expecting to do. So it's usually I'm not with a person longer than 5 minutes. So, and you don't want to get too deep and then pull back out again and leave them crying, walking away from your table. Though I have had that happen before. I think I've talked about it in a previous live stream. That was the bachelorette party. She's fine. She's fine. She needed that reading. It's like, okay, great. Like, here, do you need more tissues? Yeah, I mean, Sophia, you're right. Sometimes they just want Miss Cleo. we could probably provide that experience, but it's really up to us whether we want to, or if we want to continue that kind of misconstruing, you know. So Katie says wedding to divorce, eek. Yeah, that's true. All right, we got to get into it because we're already a half an hour in, folks. Jeez. Honey, let's see if I can get him to. Honey, can you get me a beer out of the fridge? The Stone Cold's. Stone Cold's right side, bottom shelf. I sound like a lush. You really sound like a lush. You're going to really think I'm a lush when you see the size of this beer. Not that I didn't enjoy. Okay. Not that I didn't enjoy doing the vlog. I think you all can see when you watch the video that I enjoyed doing it. You want to come on camera? Not even your hand? No. I love you. Okay. Everyone says hello. Oh, hello. All of my loyal viewers say hello. Thumbs up. Can you close over the door so I'm not disturbing you? I love you. Poor thing. He's not been having an easy week, and we are looking forward to our vacation at the end of the month. By the way, that's another thing that I mentioned in the newsletter. And oh my God, I was waiting for that to blow up. Please don't splooge on me. It's not a keg. It's not a keg. I'll show you in a second. This might be the worst idea ever, but it's so if you're familiar at all with wrestling, it's not a keg. Jeez. This is Steve Austin. So if you're familiar with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the wrestler, this is from El Segundo Brewing Company, and it's his Broken Skull IPA. He also just came out with a lager. I think it's called Broken Skull Lager, and it's very good. But this is definitely an IPA, and I'm not really a fan of IPAs so much because they usually have less aftertaste to me. But this one's pretty good. I know you're teasing, Katie. I know. Okay, so now that I've had my sip of beer and it's going down real nice, let us talk about the astrology from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady, whose next book she's really starting to promote, called Twist Your Fate. Oh, like, folks, you need to get your hands on a copy of Twist Your Fate. I got a kind of like an ARC advanced reader copy PDF, but it was for front. What are those called? Like, I'm really like today. Quote that they asked me for a quote. Jesus, it's bad. One of these days, I will figure out how to interview people on here live too, because I have my link for guests, and I mean, honestly, it feels very like intimate tonight. So hold on, let me see. cancel. Let's try. I don't know where you guys are viewing from, but if you want to try out the guest link tonight too, I would really love that, because it's actually related to tonight's episode about podcasting and podcasts. So just putting it out there. I'm not going to display it on the screen, but I kind of want to try it out. I tried to do this before with Dylan Dilly when she's like been around, and it just didn't work for her. Because I'd like to have the experience of actually hearing what that sounds like, because there's no way I can pronounce that. And I'm not going to try. Okay, anyway. I'm going to find exactly. Oh, request for review. That's what it was. Yes. Hold on. From Weiser. Twist Your Fate, Manifest Success with Astrology and Tarot, a new book by Teresa Reed. You'll find a file of the first pages for your review. Attach this email. We'd be honored if you take a look and possibly write an endorsement. Wow. What's wrong with me? I couldn't remember endorsement. I couldn't remember an endorsement or a blurb. I couldn't remember it. But while I'm in my email inbox to find the AstroBiz Digest, I also wanted to mention about Twist Your Fate, because I know that Teresa's been promoting it, but I did provide an endorsement blurb for the upcoming book. I don't know when it comes out. I think September, maybe October. But my endorsement, if you want to know, is Teresa Reed has done it again, and Twist Your Fate is a masterwork of astrology, tarot, and intuitive advice. Having such a large subject matter to work with, you would think that all topics are jammed in there without rhyme or reason. But no, Reed takes her time and weaves all 3 sections of the book into a final exercise in which you truly learn how to twist your fate and make your life extraordinary. We may not all be dealt hands that predestine us to glory and fame, but that doesn't mean we are fated to bemoan our circumstances either. You will not find trite axioms like follow your bliss in this book, but practical advice that you can use immediately. So that's my endorsement for Twist Your Fate. And I'm kind of an honest reviewer. Like I don't mess around. If I like something, I like something. And if I don't, I will say it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat. Yes, I do want to test it. So click on it, and I want to see what comes up in my landing pages over here. Because I do want to be able to do interviews here, and that does lend itself to the topic tonight, which is about podcasting. And if you're wondering, like, where the first couple of episodes of the Tarot by Hilary standalone podcast came from, it came from these. It came from these live sessions. So the first, I think the fourth episode that I did the interview with Helena, we did that over Zoom. And then I recorded. I recorded the Zoom. So there's both video and audio. I haven't made the video public, but we were looking cute. I'm not going to lie. We were looking cute. So I can always use that for promotional items later. But I was able to record that way. But for these lives, Be Live gives a downloading option for both audio and video. Oh, okay. So it popped up and it said, Sophia is ready to join the broadcast. All right, you ready? Should we do this shit? Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so I think I'm only hearing you right now because you're in the staging. This is very cool. All right, I'm going to show you on the stream.
Oh boy. Okay.
Are you getting a countdown? Did you get a countdown?
It did the thing.
Okay.
Now it says that I'm in the thing.
Okay, I can hear you. So hopefully I can hear you, and that means everybody else can hear you. So Katie can monitor. So and Katie is in Australia, so she said, "Do it, Sophia. I've just woken. I'm barely coherent."
Oh gosh.
Oh, this is perfect. That's great. Yay!
Can they see me?
Yeah.
Or... Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
glad that I took
think
off my
so.
pajamas.
Well, I mean, I put this on over my
I had my like
top.
quadruple extra large shirt that has like 900 cats on it, so I'm glad they changed.
Oh, so Katie is saying, I can see you both looking cute. Okay, can you hear Sophia though, Katie? Just let us know. Do we want to do live reaction for the astrology?
Oh gosh, sure. Sure.
Do you want me to read the astrology and you can do live reactions for the astrology?
Oh, so all the scrunched up faces.
Yeah. Yep, all perfect. Ooh, yes, all perfect. So all you're seeing is my face and the audio, right? Yes?
Me or Katie?
You. No, Katie says yes, all perfect. So I'm sorry, I'll say Sophia or Katie. she's saying yes, all perfect, and she's saying also to go for it. So live reactions for the astrology from Teresa Reed, from her wonderful Astro-Biz Digest, which, as I said before, and I'll say it again, it is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I found it to be very applicable for my own personal life, as I'm sure everybody else. And Katie is saying yes, no, can see you both. Yep. So we're good. We're good. So let me try and show the Astro-Biz Digest on the screen too. Okay. So there's 3. Oh, cool. Very cool. So I will put that down so that you can see both of our lovely faces as I'm reading it. Okay. Let me move over to the other tab and pull up the Astro-Biz Digest. I'm very excited about Twist Your Fate. What about you, Sophia?
I've looked at some of it. I am not super up to date. I think I've read all of her other books, but I haven't looked at any abstracts for this one yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, she's got such a personable style and style of writing that it's just like, astrology is hard, and I think that people stay away from astrology because of how like gobbledygook it kind of sounds, and it's just like, well, how can I relate to that? Or but she talks about it in such great layman's terms that like you start to understand, even if you don't want to do it for yourself, you start to understand what she's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Astrology is one of those things that has been this like amorphous thing for so long for me, and I'm doing a deep dive on it through the Stephen Forrest books, but Teresa makes it so that you can actually comprehend it without needing a PhD in astrology.
or a mathematician degree, right? Yeah. Yeah, so Katie is saying astrology, it's complicated. Teresa makes it easier. I agree, absolutely. So what's your before we go into the Astro-Weather, Sophia, what's your big 3?
Ooh, so I'm a Virgo sun, Gemini moon, and a Taurus rising.
I'm also a Gemini moon. I think we've discussed that before.
We may have. That sounds familiar. Yes.
It's like, yeah, sure, that sounds right. Okay, so astrology from Teresa Reed from her Astro-Biz Digest. If you're interested in purchasing it, it's $99 for the year. And that is such a steal. Like when you get all of this astrology in your inbox, you're just like, oh my God, like she should be charging double. Like this is ridiculous. I feel like I'm getting away with something. But I give the astrology, like, first of all, any big transits that are happening in the week, and then I give the astrology for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because we don't want to give it away. That kind of defeats the purpose of promoting her work if we give it all away in these live streams. So weekly forecast from July 4th to the 10th. Geez, like this year is going so fast. So big, it's usually like 2 big transits a week that she talks about. So This particular week, Mars saunters into Taurus on the 5th. The bull does not want to be rushed, so consider this your cue to take a methodical approach to your business. Instead of a sprint, this is a marathon. Projects may take more time than usual, but if you persist, you'll reach the finish line and nail every deadline. This is also an excellent transit for making and spending money. The key is consistent marketing. What were we just talking about? Wow. Keep it constant and your cash flow will remain steady. Make sure you manage that stack, though. It's tempting to spend it when you could invest it. Mars moves into Gemini on August 20th. So we're going to be in the Mars in Taurus until basically August 20th. So around about a month. Pay attention to emotions, both yours and the public, when Mercury enters Cancer on the 5th. Everyone is emo for a few weeks, including you. While it's great to touch hearts, people can get easily triggered. I feel that. Plus, boundaries are weaker than my mother's hollandaise sauce during this transit. That is definitely Teresa-ism. That is not a me. You'll need to remain aware of moods and keep yourself grounded AF. I also highly recommend avoiding snarky comments, fear-based marketing, or anything that might cause unintentional harm. Mercury remains here until July 19th. So Mercury is one of the more swiftly moving planets. So the transits tend to be shorter than some of the, I guess, bigger planets or the outer planets astrologically. Any thoughts, Sophia?
So far, so good. That makes a lot of sense. Especially the stuff regarding not wanting to spend money as soon as it comes in. That's been like all week this week. I discovered a new crystal place by my house.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh is right. He's supposedly been collecting for 30 years and is now selling everything at the prices he paid 30 years ago. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Yeah, I bought 2 pieces of charoite the size of my fist for $25, and I was like, I can't know that this place exists. I can't know this.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I used to be a Lushie, so I used to shop at Lush, but I would deliberately not remember where the nearest location is, and I would only go to the Lush store that was like in Uncasville at Mohegan Sun, or in Florida. I would go to the airport. There's one in the airport, but I was just like, no, that one near me doesn't exist, because otherwise, yeah,
game over.
Selective amnesia. So Katie is saying crystal shops are scary lures. Yes,
they get you. They suck you in and they bleed you dry.
Yes. And she said, OMG, I'd want to buy the whole crystal shop. Yeah, that's very exciting.
I know. He does all custom work too, so I'm like, don't tell me that.
Ooh.
I did commission, he's a silversmith, so he's making me a petersite ring, which I'm like, okay, and then I'm done. I'm done.
Until you're not done.
I know.
Until there's one more thing. There's always one more thing. But, you know, I mean, as readers, sometimes it's just like, this is a tax write-off, right? Mm-hmm. Like, no. Yeah, I put it on my table when I'm doing readings. Like, a tax write-off? Yeah, maybe.
No Kickstarter decks. It's a business expense.
It's a business expense, yes. So getting into the nitty-gritty of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday, today, July 8th, the Scorpio moon lingers over the next 2 days, giving you the green light for strategy sessions, behind-the-scenes projects, contracts, and financial management. So we can tamp those urges down. Tap into this and you can get money and business in divine order. The only caveat, the aspects in the morning are a bit tense. Yes, yeah, I can agree with that. So you'll want to keep to yourself as much as possible. A few aggressive types seem to be stirring every pot. Do you really want to distract yourself from productive tasks by doom scrolling? Nope. The energy softens when the moon trines Mercury at 1:31 p.m., a remarkable aspect for secret meetings and essential but confidential conversations. You may be privy to important info that could change your game. So today, Friday, is a power day for Scorpio and a weekday for Taurus. How is your morning, Sophia? Did that
I have a flute lesson. I have a 2.5-hour flute lesson tomorrow morning.
Well, this was Friday, so it's already happened.
It's already happened.
Yes. So how was your morning?
My morning this morning was, it was a little tense. I started working at this OBGYN office as like a part-time thing, and the person who was supposed to train me did not come in. So then they just threw me into the deep end, and I was fine. But I am definitely not medical, and I definitely can't answer any medical questions. So that was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to work for a holistic nutritionist, and it was hard being able to say that to people. Like, I can't answer you. Like, I legally cannot answer those questions. I know you think it's a harmless question, but if I answer wrong, like, I'm liable and the nutritionist is liable, you know? And some of it was just like, I'm feeling this way. Should I go to the ER? And it's just like, yes, go. Like,
no, I was getting, my mammo script is back. Yes, your results are back. Can you read it? I can't even read it. I think there's a boob in there. I don't know.
Is that boob in there? Hopefully, yes. Yeah, that's stressful because it's like, it's life and death too, or it can be. It has the possibility of that. So Katie says, perfect for medical receptionist. That's what the doctor is for. Yep, exactly. Good point. All right, so Saturday, let's future trip. Early Saturday morning, Mercury squares off with Jupiter, creating communication and travel havoc all day. Oops. Okay. Keep your cool as much as possible. This is the reason why we do the Astro-Biz Digest, folks. The moon moves into both happy and challenging aspects in the morning, another good incentive to lay low, slow down, and keep your eyes on your own paper. Saturday evening isn't much better. The moon squares Saturn at 7:04 p.m. This is Eastern Standard Time, creating a sluggish vibe. And then it trines Neptune, elevating intuition. What does that mean? Take Saturday off. Seriously. I don't even know what Sophia's face is doing right now, but I'm hearing. If you want to do anything at all, it's best to remain focused on solo activities if you can. Again, if you can, you want to work with the astrology, but some things you just can't put off, folks. It's just, yeah. You can't just say to people, well, the astrology is funky, so I'm going to have to, postpone those things. Like, sometimes you just can't do that. Sunday puts the moon in Sagittarius, which seems to speed everything else up. Hooray. Now you can get somewhere. Travel improves, folks are in a good mood, and your big vision can move forth. A Sun-Uranus sextile at 4:39 a.m. is excellent for brainstorming brilliant PR campaigns or hanging with your team. It hangs around all day. You've got time. Good, because I'm not waking up at 4:39 a.m. The Moon-Jupiter trine at 6:02 p.m. is superb for pitching the media, sending book proposals, or traveling home, or taking a vacation. So Saturday is a power day for Scorpio and a weekday for Taurus, and Sunday is a power day for Sagittarius and a weekday for Gemini. Whoo, that's a lot.
Up, down, up, down.
Up, down, up, down. Yes, exactly. Oh, okay. So Katie says, I used to be a medical receptionist. Got it. Well, that's weird. That's spooky. And she also says, astrology is funky. I'm staying in bed. LOL. So I do want to open up the floor. Is anyone curious as to the other days of the week before we move into podcasting? And then I'll let you off the hook, Sophia. Okay. It's okay. You don't have to stay on the entire time. Like, was Monday weird? Was Tuesday weird? Was Wednesday weird?
Thankfully, at least for me, this week was pretty okay. I'm finally calm-ish. Ish.
Astrology is funny. Katie, any requests before we move on to podcasting? I'll wait. But this is the reason why I love lives. And I mean, like, I'm glad that I did what I did last week, because I feel like it was very helpful pre-recording and putting it out there, and also giving the Astro-Biz Digest and the weekend forecast, And I know that you had reached out to me and said, like, on, I think at the Tube of You, that it was very like, thank you for doing that because I needed that. I'm like, yay. And also, all right. So Katie is saying Thursday morning, early to mid morning, translation to your time zone. Thank you for translating to my time zone. Otherwise, I would not be able to do it. So Thursday. Shoot, why did I put it away when I just asked? Hold on. Pull that back up again. July 4th to the, wait a minute. Let me say that again. Thursday morning, Thursday, not Tuesday, Thursday. Thursday morning is clear. Sally forth with PR networking and meetings. You won't have any obstacles to your agenda. Moon Saturn trine at 3:18 p.m. opens the door for productive meetings. Negotiate a fair deal for everyone at the table. And this is an excellent slot for interviewing new hires too. And then Moon squared Pluto and stationed void at 9:04 p.m. The public is not friendly and wannabe dictators are raging on. And that was a power day for Libra and a weekday for Aries, which also may explain the reason why I was having such trouble with the newsletter vlog. Possibly, I don't know. So Katie says, was wild at my new job, big in the world moment. I mean, sometimes the AstroBiz Digest picks up on the smaller stuff rather than the big stuff. And sometimes it picks up on the big stuff and ignores the small stuff. So I don't know. There might not be. Aha. Okay, cool. So Katie says, okay, that's why it explains the meeting went well. There you go. Like sometimes there is an explanation in astrology and sometimes it's just like, no, you know, sometimes we can't blame it or excuse it. So, all right, well, I'm going to let Sophia go. But remember, if you'd like to book a reading with her, I'm going to pull up your website while people are looking at your bright and shiny face. So if people want to book with Sophia, you can do so at benevolentcorvus.com. Follow her. She would be happy to read for you. Oh my, Katie said there was 2 terrifying meetings for me. Okay, well, details, but not maybe on the broadcast. All right, thank you for testing out the stuff. This was fun.
Yes, definitely. I think I just hit the tiny X.
Yeah, hit the tiny X and that should pop you out. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Thank you again, Sophia, for doing that. That's awesome. And I have ideas now. Oh, I have ideas. Ha 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 ha. Yay, Sophia, clapping hands. And Sophia, you'll be able to look on the replay, like what you looked like, what it sounded like. It sounded good to me, and it looked good to me here in the broadcast booth and be live. So, yeah. Yay! That makes me so happy. All right, well, I think that leads really well into tonight's episode about podcasting. My agenda items are here from last week where I did the pre-recording. Oh, good. So Katie's saying sounded and looked good from here. Yeah, I'll evaluate after when we're done, as I always do. I kind of give myself like postmortems for all of these different live shows. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I really have to curate the Tube of You playlist for the workshops or these Friday night lives, because I feel like I haven't been adding all of them as I go, and sometimes when I don't add them as I go, it just becomes this like huge impossible task to be able to like curate everything. And I've been trying to do it as I go because it's just easier. It's easier to maintain than to do it all from scratch. The same thing is true for like cleaning, for example. You know, once everything's spick and span, it's easier to maintain than just like, oh, my apartment looks like a bomb hit it. By the way, this is a real life example. There's piles here, there's piles here, there's piles over there. There's just piles of laundry everywhere. I don't know why I need this many clothes. Actually, these 2 piles are my husband's. Those piles over there are mine. So, But the pre-recording that I did last week, so it's like not live, but new to you on starting a psychic notebook or creating a psychic notebook, that I did in Be Live. So I did the whole recording, and I used all of my agenda items, like, you know, like this one, like this one, like promoting the AstroBiz Digest, like my crawler. You know, it looked, for all intents and purposes, like a live show without there being any audience interaction. So that's just cool. Yay! So exciting to have another way to like possibly do interviews with people too, and possibly do them live and take live questions. Oh, the possibilities are endless. So I'm so glad that I was able to do that. And also I like really plan on getting more strict with myself for like interviewing people and promoting people. Again, 4-6 manifester, I bring people together, folks. I like, you know, I like to promote people because it's just like, I know I can't do it all. And I know that I'm not for everybody, and I'm embracing that I'm not for everybody, but that doesn't mean that I'm not doing good work. And that doesn't mean that, like, I don't take it personally when somebody gets a reading with somebody else. I just don't. And there's actually, oh, I just had a thought. There is a client that I had who's really wonderful, very like down to earth and easygoing, just chill energy. Loved working with her. And I worked with her, oh my goodness. She wasn't in the area, so I think I used to give her phone readings. And I ended up doing a party for her and her cousin, and her cousin very, very close. And it was just such an awesome event. And between the phone readings that I had given her and that party, I think I had recommended, like, you know, this is a very similar reading to like what I've given you before. So like, if you don't mind, like, here's my friend Courtney Weber, by the way, awesome author of Tarot for One, The Art of the Self-Read, or The Art of Reading for Yourself. Excellent book. If you're worried like, oh, I can't read tarot for myself, bull fucking shit. You can read tarot for yourself. Like, everyone has this like kind of like, oh, I can read tarot for others, but I can't read for myself. And it's just like, when you're learning tarot and you don't have other guinea pigs, like, yourself is all you got. So learn to read tarot for yourself first before you start extending out the readings to others. But here's the reason why reading for yourself can be hard. It's objectivity. That's my opinion. It's objectivity. Getting objective about your own stuff. It's difficult, but it can be done. Courtney Weber's book, Tarot for One, The Art of Reading for Yourself. Excellent. So I've been read by Courtney. Courtney's been read by me. I've attended some of her classes. She's attended some of my classes. Like, there's room for everybody, folks. But I said to this particular client, and this was still when Courtney was, I think, on the East Coast, but either way, I think that was a phone reading as well. I was just like, listen, like, this reading feels so similar to what I've given you like 6 months ago. Like, can you just do me a favor and book a reading with Courtney on the same topic? Because I really want you to have her opinion too. And I feel like what I've been saying might be strengthened if another reader says it to you. And this is not in the case of like hopping around to other readers to find the answer that you like want to hear instead of what you need to hear. No, this is more about like, I'm just curious. I'm curious. I'm like, am I too involved now? Like, do I want things for you? And I mean, that happens sometimes when I work with people. I want to see the best for them. I want the best to happen for them. I can't help it. I get attached. But also, when you're attached, that doesn't make you a very good reader. You know, you have to unattach to be able to give a good reading to someone, give an accurate reading to someone, give a helpful reading to someone. So I said, like, do me a favor, book with Courtney, and then you can come back to me. Not a problem. And this is not the same person that like I did that for, and she acted like I was breaking up with her. And then I was just like, well, now I'm not comfortable reading for you at all. Like, we're done. Not the same person. This person took me at my word and was just like, yeah, cool. I'll go schedule with Courtney. And it was wild, the party that happened, like with her and her cousin, like the things that I was saying, you know, Courtney said the exact same things. And it was like different deck, different cards came up, but the readings were the same. You know, like the readings were like exactly the same. And I'm just like, did that help you though? Did that help you to be able to like hear the message? And she was like, oh my God, it was totally helpful. Like, oh my God, I love Courtney and I love you. Like, you're such great readers. I'm so glad that you have this like community and camaraderie of people that you can go and refer other people to and like get the best experience, because that's really what I'm after. Like, I might not be the right reader for you, but I'm always going to be like, how can I have this person have the best experience with this particular divinatory tool? Sophia, oh, I remember that story. LOL. Oh, the person that was acting like I broke up with her. Yeah. Fun times. And then she tried to get back in with me like 5 years later. And I'm just like, I told you, like, I'm not comfortable with reading for you ever again. And by the way, if someone does that and you're like not comfortable reading for them anymore because you know like they're like kind of a nightmare of a client and you found out the hard way, don't go and then refer this person to someone that you love and respect as a tarot reader. Like, don't foist a bad apple client onto other readers that you love and know and respect. Please, for the love of God, don't. Don't do it. Oh, cool. So Katie says that pre-recorded turned out well. And yes, we were answering the pre-recording where you were used to us answering. Cool. Great. And Katie also says, I get too extreme on my own readings, either too positive or too negative. Honestly, same. Like, reel it back in. And my best piece of advice, and I think it's something that Courtney covers in the book that I was mentioning, is read for somebody that happens to have the same first name as you. It helps, you know, even that small tweak. And I think I've said that before in a previous live stream, even that small tweak of like, oh, this client happens to be named Hilary too, but it's not, I'm not reading for myself. I'm reading for this client that happens to have the same first name as me. And actually, funny story, I do have a client that is named Hilary and with one L too. So I'm just like, oh, good. I think I'm going to like you. And I was just like, but do you spell it the right way? No offense for the double L Hilarys. Like, no offense, but like, it's wrong. I'm very sensitive about my name. Yeah, Sophia. Yes, 100%. We know the script. So the reason why I mentioned that about that other client, I can't remember now why I mentioned that client. I just had that sense of like, oh, just like reading for yourself. Yeah. God, how is she? I need to check back in with her. She's such a good client. Like, I hope she's doing well. I think I checked in with her, like, not in like a weird way, but more just like, hey, it's been a while. Like, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Not to like solicit or anything and be like, hey, do you need another reading? Like, no, I just genuinely want the best for people that I've read for. I can't help it. Anyway, the reason why I was talking a little bit about Be Live and the pre-recording and everything. One, like, did you like it? Did it work for you? I'm so happy that it did, because like, and that's part of what I needed to do for my upcoming vacation. We had a Zoom meeting scheduled for those of us that are going on this trip, where it's just like we had to we had to plan out our excursions, and if we were booking tours, we had to pay for those tours to like lock them in, or at least give like credit card information, what have you, to be able to like, hey, we've got this locked in, because like it's coming out like 3 weeks. So exciting. I'm really hoping that everything works out and we get to go. Like I am like, please, because I need a vacation. And the Baltic Sea cruise absolutely ruined me in 2019 because it was such an amazing trip. I would never, like, for all of the places that I would want to go, like, I never even thought about the Baltic Sea, and it turned out to be an amazing trip because I wasn't expecting. And the places that I had expectations, I was a little disappointed because my expectations were not real, and I just had more of a good time in the places where I didn't know anything about it and I didn't expect anything, and it was just amazing. Yes, Grand Rising, beloved. Exactly. Don't want to be like that. Don't want to cultivate that kind of energy, dropping into people's DMs and soliciting. It's just, bleh. I hate that. And I really hope for those of you that may have gotten ripped off in my name, that you were able to charge back those charges. And like, once the money's gone, like, I can't do anything for you. So I do recommend, please go back to that episode on spammers, scammers, and charlatans. Watch it thoroughly. I think I did put in on the Tube of You little jump points so that you can go to exactly where you need to go, like a table of contents, basically. So you can jump to whatever section that you need for like identifying like what a spammer looks like, how to recognize like a handle that's not mine, how to recognize the verbiage that's in the DMs. Like, I don't use Grand Rising, beloved. I don't even know what the fuck that means. And also, like, here, these live streams, like, this is me, like, do I need to hold up like a piece of paper with all of my correct usernames and my website? I mean, like, here, tarotbyhilary.com, Hilary with 1 L. Accept no substitutes. All of my socials are on that website so that it's me. And if somebody's in your inbox and it doesn't sound like me, then it's probably not me. So, when in doubt and you want to book a reading with me, like, I'm not going to chase you down for it. I'm not. You have to book with me, not the other way around. Unless, of course, you're having trouble with my website and booking through my website. Then, of course, you can shoot me an email and be like, what's going on? Oh, is that link broken? I'll fix it. Thank you for letting me know. Because sometimes I don't know. I think things are going fine. Because how would I know? Oh, Zuri's here. Zuri, I'm so excited that you're here. You may have missed it. Sophia and I tested out the guest link. So when you're ready to come on camera and do an interview at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night, we're going to do that shit. Sophia tested it out. Sounded good. It looked good. Now we just need to get our shit together and find a place on the calendar for it. Maybe September. Shoot, that was what I was going to do too. I was going to grab my planner and show you everything that I had scheduled out. But stop. We're an hour and 15 into this episode, and we haven't even talked about podcasts yet, which is the actual point of this episode. So, exactly. Yes. You also do not book through the gram of Insta. Yes. You can see like my fun, like Insta reels, it's fun. And I mean, if like you're getting messages on the gram of Insta that you think are me, like message my handle, Tarot by Hilary, on Insta and be like, is this you? And take screenshots of whatever messages are coming through. Like 99% of the time, it's not me. Unless, of course, I'm like responding back to some of the laugh emojis you put on my stories. Then I'm going to be like, like I'm a dork. I'm a dork. Yep. And you might as well know that now. I'm a dork. Ooh, good. Zuri's down for September. And it's on like Donkey Kong. See? Like proof. Okay, Zuri's a dork too. But in the best way possible. I'm a dork. She's a dork. Everybody's a dork. Oh boy. Yeah. And that's another thing too. I had an in-person. This has been a very tangential episode, and I swear, like the beer, it's only like to here. But I also didn't eat today. I'm a lightweight. So Zuri's saying, I've been having fun now on the talks, or the clock app, as those youngins call it. I saw a thing where it was just like, for those of you who are elderly who are on TikTok, you know, those of you who were born in the late 90s, and I'm like, do you see my jowls sagging? Oh, my back, my hip. Late 90s. Let me go back to Eliza Schlesinger's special Elder Millennial, because that's how I feel. Age 41 on the talk of tick. But it is fun. It is fun. But there's a lot of rampant impersonation over there too. And the other day I saw that there was a username on there that didn't have the same videos as me. I mean, they did, like, way down. If you scroll down, there were a couple of ones that they stole from me, but most of them, it didn't even like look like some of my card of the days. And I reported them like months ago, and nothing's been done. And it's like Tarot by Hilary 0. So it's just like, it's not me. So I reported them, but I took a screenshot first, and I did, I think, 2 TikToks on that. Sorry, talk of tick. Watch the algorithm. The first one was education. Like, hey, like I did like green screen, the green screen filter, or the background, or whatever the hell they call it, with the picture of that feed, which is not mine. And I'm just like, hey, ducked out of the way, pointed up. Like, this is not me. I'm just educating you. This is not me. Please report and block them. This is not me. If you get a DM, this is not me. This is not me. Okay. Within 5 minutes, I got, we've pulled this video because it goes against community guidelines, and it was cited for harassment and bullying. Not even joking with you, within 5 minutes. Like, I know, Sophia, you saw it like right away, so you were able to like it, but like nobody else saw it before they like banned it. And now it's back. It's restored because I submitted an appeal. But before I submitted an appeal, I made another video, and I was just like, why the hell am I getting cited for reporting and for bullying and harassment for just trying to educate my people, like, hey, this is not me. And then someone who is very popular on the talk of tick, I cannot remember his, Jewel. I think his name is Jewel, but he's known for like putting on a British accent and saying, so you want to know about Leo? Or, so did you know that every tarot card or every astrological sign is associated with a tarot card? And then he talks all about the different like astrological associations with tarot, or, you know, different things. But he's a reader, and he's very, very popular on the talk of tick. And I kind of like fangirled a little bit. But he had posted something about educational, like, hey, I know there's a lot of people that like look like me, but here's the misspellings, here's this, you know, like, I will not DM you. I will not do that. Like, please, you know, like, I'm educating my people. They may not take it down. They may not take down those, or, you know, they're not doing anything about it, but like, here's what you can do. And I commented on that because that was like right after my video got taken down for violating community guidelines. And I'm just like my video got flagged for violating community guidelines when I was trying to educate my community about exactly this. And then he was like, oh my God, ew, no, why? So like, he responded back to me. So I'm like, oh, he responded back to me. But also like, geez. Like, I can't even imagine with what people with bigger platforms are going through, or how they can keep track of it. And the point is, they can't. They can't, and it's exhausting. So like, let's be fun with the Talkative, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm experimenting and everything else, and you know, having fun there, but also not trying not to take everything so seriously as well. But I can only educate. I can't do anything about it. If you get to the point where you give money to somebody else, I can't do anything about it. So please just book through my website. It's easier for all of us. You will actually get Tarot by Hilary when you book through my website. You will actually get a reading from me. It's not hard. It's not hard. Anyway, my grammar, I type faster than my brain is communicating. Well, I talk faster than my brain is communicating. Half the time I don't even know what I'm saying. Sophia said, Jesus, I can't with that app. But you saw that video, Sophia. I know that you saw it. You liked it right away, and then it was gone. But they restored it. I appealed and they restored it. But why did I have to appeal it? Like, why would you just take it down without even like, ah? So Sophia says they allow some horrific shit, but then information is against the rules. This is part of the reason why I have to do my newsletter. And we talked about, like, Sophia, you and I have talked privately about this, like, word of mouth, king. You know, good work always gets found. Yes. But market yourself, because you do have to market yourself. But don't be sleazy about it. Like, it is enough to do your head in, as my mother would say. But here's also the reason why I do my newsletter. Like, they can't mess with, you don't have to talk about the algorithm, because the people that have signed up for my newsletter will get my newsletter when I put it out there. Right? So, like, make that direct line with your clients or your prospective clients. It's really important, because, you know, who knows, all of these different social media platforms can go away overnight. Like, hey, does anyone remember Google Plus? It's gone. It's not there anymore. Hey, do you guys remember LiveJournal? LiveJournal's still around though, but not as popular. Hey, do you guys remember? Oh, I had it on the tip of my tongue, and now I'm gonna MySpace. Do y'all remember MySpace? Precursors to all of this social media. I mean, maybe the gram of Insta will be around for years. Maybe it won't. Maybe the Talkative will be around for years. Maybe it won't. Maybe the twat of Twitter, the twat of Twit, will be around forever. Who knows? But I can't, you know, knock on wood. Your website, your newsletter, your emails. I can't take that away from you. Geez, this is a long episode. Yes. And also, Sophia, good point. We need a video version of Vero, witchy only clock app. Hey, maybe we should look into that. Let's do some let's make we should brainstorm names for that. There's got to be a way. I mean, there was Witchfox, which was a website, but I think Witchfox is gone now too. But that was a website. It wasn't an app. No, did I send out the wrong? Did I send out the wrong link? Oh, this newsletter is taking everything out of me today. Everything. Excuse me. You shouldn't have to log in to be able to. Oh, no. No. Wait, so Sophia, were you able to watch the video though? Why? I don't think I'm ever going to do this damn video newsletter ever again. It took everything out of me. I tried so hard. I'm getting requests all over the place. That was supposed to be a view only link. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? I don't know. I don't know. So Katie says MySpace, yes. Suri says I miss Periscope. I know, but they have like something different now. It's not called Periscope, but it's like talking or voice or something like with the twat of Twitter. I don't know. Ooh, the crystal ball. That's a possibility for a name of an app. And Sophia says, I also had to request access, but I read the post. Damn it. I worked so hard on this video. And it should be, all right, I'm going to put it into the chat. It should be this link. And I'm going to also look on my emails because people might have replied. I swear, God, I worked so hard. All right, there's an email. Let's see. I can't. Please don't say. Fuck! Yeah, why am I being asked to log into Canva when trying to view the video? God damn it! I went over this with 2 separate people to make sure that that link was clickable and that you didn't have to log in. No login required. Mother. Oh, this makes me so freaking mad. Oh, and now I have to send it out to everyone. God damn it. I am fantastically angry right now. I don't think I'm ever. And by the way, the person said, it's making me log in. That's the person that asked me to do the damn video. Lesson in that. No matter what people are asking for, if you don't feel it also intuitively, don't fucking do it. Ugh. We're never going to get to the actual point of tonight's episode. We're just not. Podcasting. We're talking about podcasting. I thought this would be a great solution too. To like pull out the audio from this too. Damn it. Makes me so mad. So mad. 99 opens, 9 clicks, and probably all of those clicks are not even working. Thank you, Sophia. We're just along for the ride. Oh, it makes me so upset. Oh. Why, damn it? Why? Yeah, I'm not getting a problem with this link. Why am I not getting a problem with this link? Because it might be because it's my link. Okay, share. Link sharing restricted, only people added. Really? Anyone with the link? Anyone with the link can watch. Anyone with the link can watch. Copied. Good. All right. Right, exactly. So, yes, I just adjusted the permissions. Hold on. Well, you can work out the permissions and send it out again. I'm not sending out the entire newsletter again. Or how about this? Record the newsletter video, upload it to YouTube as a link where only people that can view it, and then add it add it to your newsletter. See, I tried to do it the other way. I didn't want to like involve YouTube in it. It's Zuri, it's been a struggle. I talked about it at the top of the episode. I don't want to go into it again. You'll have to watch the replay. This newsletter has taken everything out of me. Really. Your supporters will support you. Thank you. Upload to YouTube as a public newsletter video as a way to entice new people to subscribe to the newsletter and your YouTube page. Yes, I can do that. I've got it downloaded. It's easy enough for me to upload, but I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm just going to scream bloody murder. And yes, Katie, you're correct because you already have the cache with a login to Canva. All right. I adjusted. We're testing this live right now. It'll propagate in a second, and that's a watch link where I adjusted because it literally said to me, anyone with the link can view. It said it to me before I went and shared it. Ugh. Exactly, Sophia. But this is kind of like what I was talking about before, like with booking. Like if something's not working on my website, like I'm not going to know that something's not working on my website sometimes because it's just like I presumed everything was right before and I've checked it before. And sometimes what I'm seeing is not what other people are seeing. Zuri says, I've been there. I know it's frustrating. Sophia says, that one works. And it looks pretty. Awesome. So now what I have to do is duplicate. Oh, I got an unsubscribe too. I hope that was not the reason why someone unsubscribed. Let's see. Oh, I don't even know who that is. Unspecified. Okay. Let's see. Click performance. Oh. I can't believe I have to do this. All right. Newsletter. 100 opens and 9 clicks. And I have to replicate it now with the new link. Yeah, shit happens. Let's see. Resend to correct broken link. Save. And while I'm in here, I'm going to put in that link right now so that everyone stops their belly aching. Oh, that's a good tip, Katie. Incognito browser page is the best way to test. Good idea. And Sophia says maybe they pulled a Doreen Virtue. That's possible. That's definitely the definition of unspecified. Zuri says, I always say when someone unsubscribes, bless them out of your space so someone who joyfully loves and supports your work can join with 5,000 friends. That's a good affirmation. Yeah. And that's the wording that I'm going to use, Katie, because you know me. Messed up permissions, the newbie issues. Here's a link that works. Let's see. Break link, add link, web address, go, insert, and let's see. It has come to my attention that the link for the vlog is broken. My apologies. The correct link as being added. And I will also include it here. I'm doing this like this is live, folks. If I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it. So y'all just have to deal with it. I know it's not the best usage of my time where it's just like I'm just staring blankly at the screen and talking to myself, but hey, these are the realities of the situation, right? Yeah. Zuri says everyone about that knows me knows that my sense of humor is a little snarky and dark. Ever since these platforms started to censor, I found myself pausing how I would say or behave, and I hate that I find myself doing that. But honestly, same, Zuri. You know, and like if you look on the Talk of Tick and you see some of the captions that come up, like they don't even say the word kill. They say unalive themselves. So like they might say it, but then they'll adjust the caption so it says unalive instead of saying kill or suicide. I'm not even joking with you. Like literally, if you look at the Talk of Tick as much as I do, and now they have a little like thing that pops up. It's just like, hey, stop scrolling. It's time to log off. It's time to not. And it's just like, don't you tell me what to do. You're not my dad. I will scroll until 3 a.m. if I want to. Sophia says, F it, we'll do it live. Yeah. Zuri says, wow. Yeah. Look. Next time, look carefully. You will see it. Yeah, Sophia, it's another language entirely. I mean, I'm starting to talk like gibberish here on these lives just to, get around the algorithm of like, Talk of Tick, Book of Face, Tube of You. But that's also something that my camera confidence coach or program has taught me. It's just like don't say the word share. Say sprinkle. Yeah. Like you would be surprised the kind of things and I agree with you, Zuri. Should we have to censor ourselves like that? No, we shouldn't have to censor ourselves like that. But to get ourselves out there, if we're trying to have organic reach, whatever the hell that means, instead of paid, because I'm not freaking paying, we have to use the platforms in the way and keep people on those platforms too. That's another thing. Like I realized the post in which I put in a link outside of whatever social media platform that I'm working at, it doesn't perform as well because you're basically pointing them outside of the app. They want you to stay in that environment. So you want to do everything that you can to stay in that environment. Sad, but it's true. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. I think I read that in of linked post. All right, let me send this out before I forget. And I need to regenerate the plain text. And sure. Please let it work. Please let it work. Please let it work. Let's do the let it work dance. Let's do the let it work dance. Let it work. Let it work. White girl dancing. White girl dancing. All right. Shall we get into the actual topic of tonight's episode? Oh, goodness. Yikes. Okay. So podcasting, right? See, I feel like I'm made for like Twitch, but my computer is not up to snuff on the Twitch regard. Like I've tried. It won't let me live stream to Twitch. It's not it's only my laptop's only 5 years old, but it's not new enough to be able to account for Twitch. So like, I mean, I'm going to put it out there. If people want to put money into the virtual tip jar to buy me a new computer to be able to be on Twitch, sure, I will accept that. I will put that into my manifestation quota to be able to be on all the platforms that you want me to be on. But also, I don't want to spread myself around too thin either. So speaking of that, let me put that into here. Oh, shoot. That didn't work. That is over the character count. I wonder if this is over the character count. Let me see. Oh, I need a space in there. There we go. All right, cool. And now, true, Sophia, and now for something entirely different. Yes. So yeah, I put it in there if you want to contribute. If you benefit from this training or any of the other Tarot by Hilary Friday night videos, please express your thanks through the virtual tip jar. That's paypal.me/Tarot by Hilary NY. Just be very clear. So it is all synced in to my PayPal account. That's the same PayPal account that I have for my website and booking in appointments on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. But yeah, if people want to send me money, I'm not going to say no to that. People want to throw money at my face to get me a new computer so I can like stream on Twitch or for any other reason, go international. By all means. Oh, thank the gods. So Katie says maybe you should rename this episode the various social media places, the good, bad, and the ugly, but I need to focus. Also, spammers, scammers, and charlatans. I think that covers it pretty well with the social media nuttiness. But yeah, maybe I can do an entirely different episode on it. Zuri, thank you for the good news. By the way, the link in the corrected newsletter works. And Katie says, you are international. Yeah, I am international. And by the way, that's like one of the things I put in the vlog is putting it out there that I'm going to be in these countries on this trip, on this vacation. So yeah, technically I'm going to be on vacation. But also I would love to be able to meet people. Like I know for a fact that there's at least one person that I know follows my work in Amsterdam. And I'm going to be in Amsterdam for at least 4 days before we set sail. So I'm putting it out there, but I'm also saying I'm not going to reach out to you directly. Like you have to do the legwork to reach out to me and let me know, because I don't want to be a scammy, scammer, slimy, dropping into your DMs. Like I don't want to be that, but I want to be able to put it out there. Like, hey, I am going to be in your country. Hey, I might have time to be able to give you a reading or at least meet up with you, because I would love to be able to do that. So Zuri says, wave to my relatives in Amsterdam. I will. I totally like reach out to me. Like let me know in what area they are. And absolutely. I was getting like right before this live stream, I was talking to my bestie who has been to Amsterdam, and she was telling me all of these different places. And she's like, I'll get you a specific list. And she was saying, by the way, there's a high-speed train. You can be in Paris in 2 hours from Amsterdam. If you really want to take one of those days and go to Paris, you can do that. And I'm just like, oh, that's a possibility. Like, but I also don't know with some of the tours we're going on, like what's going to happen. So, but it's very exciting. And also like, still have to do a bunch of stuff and like, oh crap, like I have to do laundry and I have to pack, and then I have to put a battery in my scale so that I don't go over 50 pounds with what I'm packing. for my checked luggage. Oh, checking luggage is the worst. I hate having to check luggage. And I was determined, by the way, for my Vegas trip for my graduation for EFT certification. I was only gonna be gone from the Tuesday to the Friday, so it didn't make any sense for me to check luggage. It just made sense for me to pack a carry-on, but like that was one of the hardest carry-ons I ever had to pack. They're just like, oh my god, like what's gonna be thrown out? What's gonna be this? How am I gonna? And then when I was coming back from Vegas, how am I going to be able to pack this? I packed it though, like clearly it's here. My graduation cap. Come on. It's pink. What was I supposed to do? Leave it there? No. Take just the tassel? No. Obviously not. By the way, packing to come back from Vegas was the fastest I have ever packed because I had to be checked out and I had to get my ass in a cab to take me back to the airport. Otherwise, I was going to miss my flight. Oh my God, it was so much pressure because the NFL draft was happening that Thursday, Friday. And apparently the traffic in Vegas was like, you had to leave double or even triple the amount of time to be able to get to the airport. And by the way, the airport is not that far from the Strip. It's 2 miles. It's 2 miles. And yet it took 40 minutes to get to the airport. Fastest I've ever packed. Anyway. Zuri says, that's why I drove to Reader Studio because I needed room in my car for all of my new decks and books. LOL. Yes. I mean, I'm a little bit spoiled whenever Reader Studio was going on because it's only a 20-minute drive from where I currently live to LaGuardia Marriott where they used to hold it. So, but I would always get a hotel room there too because it's a lot of energy. The first year I went to Reader Studio, we were commuting from Inwood to Queens and back each day, and it was too much. Even after the first day, we're just like, we're splitting a room. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh, that's a thought. Wear your graduation cap into the plane. I could have, but then I would have it would have struck up too many conversations. Even though I was very perky that trip. I was talking to everybody. So the person that was sitting next to me, well, was I talkative to the person sitting next to me? No, not really. Going out there? No, because I was very focused on I was just nervous. I was anxious. And so I was concentrating on the screen in front of me and watching stuff. But coming back, I was talking to the gentleman that was sitting next to me, and I was just like, oh, were you the part of the 10 guys that were on my flight coming out? And he was just like, yeah. And I'm just like, what was that about? Was it were you celebrating anything in particular? Because it was just I know that it was at least 10 people and you guys were scattered in groups of 2 throughout the plane. And he was just like, no, just a boys' trip. Wanted to chill out, nothing crazy. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Zuri said, I'm so happy I caught the last one. Yeah. I know, Katie. That's a marketing moment you missed, darn it. I was trying to integrate though. But I did do the I wore it on a live stream on the gram of Insta a couple of days after I got back, only because I wanted to talk about my experiences and also be up leveling altitude sickness and saying I felt so spacey. I didn't feel like myself at all when I got back, and quite honestly, I thought I might have gotten COVID on the trip because I'm just is this a symptom of, and I knew I felt fine, but I think I tested as soon as I got back, please God, no, please no. But no, it was just altitude sickness. Sometimes when you're integrating energy, it takes you out of yourself, and you just don't feel like yourself. And it's almost like you kind of aren't yourself, because you're learning, your body is adjusting to the you who is going to be now after that experience. Oh my God, podcasting, guys. Tell me to shut up and talk about podcasting. All right, so what do you want to know about podcasting? Let's make it chill. Why not? We've been chilling the entire time. It's freaking almost 2 hours in the episode. I know I keep on saying tight episodes, but again, it's live. We have fun. We have fun here. I have my own thoughts on what I think you guys should know, but I would rather take the audience participation and be like, what do you want to know about it? And I did want to tell a little bit of a story of like my first efforts in podcasting before podcasting was really podcasting, which I alluded to very briefly on the vlog today, which has been resent out and the link finally works. Geez. I tried really hard, but you know what? I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm human. Hopefully it doesn't mar my open rate, or perhaps it's even better. Perhaps it's even better for it. You know what? That's what I'm going to put out there. I needed to resend it because this resend is going to make things even better. So 105 opens for the first one. 33 opens in 3 clicks for the second one. And probably all 3 of those clicks are from you guys here. Okay, podcasting questions. Yay. Do you do a list of points that you're going on? Do you write a full-on script? So I'm going to give you 2 answers. For the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast, what we do is we have a time set up every Wednesday from noon to, I block out noon to 2 just in case we're getting frisky and we're recording more than 1 episode at a pop, and sometimes we will. We really like check in with each other and check the energy. Like, first of all, Jamers is really great at basically saying, like, hey, are we recording tomorrow? She'll usually send an email the night before and basically say, like, hey, are we feeling up to recording tomorrow? If so, this is what we have next on our agenda. So we write out ideas for the podcast. So we kind of know like what episodes have been published, what episodes we're looking to schedule, and also what episodes have we recorded but we have not yet published, to like keep track, because we're at episode 59. Let me look. Not that it matters, but yes, episode 59. So today, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about today, we got podcasting heavy. So I didn't realize this, but when I planned to do my personal podcast to be released, the new episode to be released today, I didn't realize that it was the second Friday, which means a new Cardslingers Coast to Coast episode. And we got very we got thrown off, and for some reason we didn't post our latest episode, Why is the Devil Always So Hot, on the 4th Friday, because that's our podcasting schedule, every 2nd and 4th Friday, because you guys are demanding and wanted us to post 2 episodes a month. So we accommodated that request. So we released an episode unexpectedly last week as a surprise, and also because oopsie, we didn't post it at the right time. So we posted that, and then the next week was the 2nd Friday, so we posted a new episode. So you guys are probably going to end up getting more episodes this month, like 3 instead of the usual 2. So awesome. Bonus for you guys. So for Cardslingers, Jamie will send an email and basically say like, hey, this is on the docket for what we need to record. And we'll look and we'll be like, nah, I don't want to record that. Or like even on that Tuesday, or we'll say like, yes, I'm up for recording. Yes, I'm up for recording. If all three of us, like if one of the three of us doesn't feel like recording, we don't record. And I think it shows in the podcast episodes that like three of us are fully present when we're recording these podcast episodes. If we're not feeling it, we don't do it. And that also keeps spirits light and keeps us working with each other and not getting sick of each other, which is important. Again, we made a pact. If it wasn't fun if it started to not be fun for one of us, we were done. And the podcast ends and we're not doing it anymore because we value our friendships with each other over whatever the fuck is happening with the podcast. Because, again, kind of ties in with those managing of expectations. So I'm very glad that we were upfront about that. And it's just like, and basically Melissa said it first and we all agreed like, hey, you fuckers mean a lot to me, and I'm not putting our friendships on the line for the sake of this podcast. So as soon as it doesn't feel fun anymore, you let me know, you let us know, and we won't do it anymore because this friendship is more important. Again, something that you hear in these podcast episodes. So on the Wednesday when we record, and sometimes we will go on a Zoom with each other and we won't even record. We will just do like kind of a housekeeping where it's just like, all right, this is what we've published. This is what we have scheduled, and these are the episodes that we've recorded. And like, what do you think about that? Where are we coming out to? Is there anything that we need to promote? Like, when is this episode going to be released? And is it going to be released? If it's going to be released in this time frame, like, do we want that? Do we need to shuffle things around? And so this is a very long answer to your question. So we do have a list, not only of the episodes, but also kind of roughly, like, it's more of an outline. Like, yes, it's a list of points. No, it's not a full-on script. The only thing that is a full-on script are the intros and the outros, which we have already recorded, and they're just dropped right in. So that's the consistency portion of it. Like, you always hear the and then our intros, where it's all three of us taking turns saying something. And if you talk along to the intros or the outros, then you're my kind of people, because I do the same thing. I know it's weird. And it's kind of old hat at this point for me because I'm one of the three people recording the damn thing. But I can't help it. It's all about slinging them cards. Like, I'll say it every single fucking time I'm listening to the episode. And we do listen to our episodes to make sure, like, all three of us have the rubber stamp of approval. Like, yes, I approve this episode to be published. Because sometimes we've had that where, we've recorded an episode and we got like really snarky in that episode, or we were kind of got really tangential in that episode and we just didn't feel good about it. And so we're just like, scrap it. We'll re-record. Like, it's not what we wanted to put out. So short answer, yes, we do have a list of points that we're going on, but then we kind of riff off of each other for the Cardslingers. For my Tarot by Hilary standalone podcast, there's only a couple of episodes up there. Let me pull up that main page. And that I record through Anchor. Which is, I think, the podcasting wing of Spotify. And it's really easy, actually, to work with Anchor. It's like web-based. There is also an app, and I've tried to like edit episodes on my phone. It just doesn't work for me. Your mileage may vary. But for the Tarot by Hilary podcast, I've got my... I'll hold it up here. I've got my blue snowball mic, which I got at Radio Shack. This is dating me, by the way. Like 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe less, or maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. But I didn't use it for years. It was like in its packaging. It's its original packaging for years before I started using it. And I'm just like, why the hell? Because I thought I was going to be a big time podcaster, whatever. But I just didn't use it. And again, go back to the gear episode for lighting and filming tarot spreads. Again, don't be like me. Don't get ahead of yourself. Like, use what works for you. And then when you're ready to expand, then you can start to buy more fancy gear. But like, use what you have first. Use natural lighting first before you go out and buy like a 6-foot ring light that you never use. Even though I did put it together the other day, it works pretty well. It works pretty well, and it came with a little remote, little camera remote for your smartphone. I think you can probably, like, it's Bluetooth, so I could probably do it for my computer too. Yeah, but for the Tarot by Hilary podcast, I've only done a couple of episodes. I was able to edit them pretty easily in Anchor on their web-based application or editing materials. Let me see here. Where's my public site for it, which is just my name, Hilary-Perry-Haggerty. That's the Tarot by Hilary podcast, anchor.fm, Hilary Perry Haggerty. Why not drop it in to the chat, Lou, since 75% of the people didn't know about it. I'll drop it in there. But for the episodes, the list of points that you're going on, do you write a full-on script? For my personal podcast, the first couple of episodes of the Tarot by Hilary podcast, and actually one of the more popular ones, are either based on the work that we do here every Friday night, and it's just the audio pulled out and downloaded and then uploaded again to Anchor FM and then edited. Or it's I read into the microphone one of my past articles that I have on my blog. So right now we have only 4 episodes, and I'm using the royal we. I can't help myself, but I have only 4 episodes out for the Tarot by Hilary podcast. The first one that I published was how to do online readings, and you guys have the replay of that episode that I did back in 2020, and that was based upon the live stream episode of the same name, how to do online readings. And so I took that. I don't know how long the episode was video wise, but it took me a long time to be able to edit the audio to make it sound not crazy, because the audio was recorded from that live stream. So it was not originally my intention to do a podcast episode from that. It was a live stream. It was always meant to be a live stream, but I was just like, you know what? Like, I have these videos that I've been doing since 2019. So why can't I take the audio out of that, download from Be Live, upload to Anchor FM, make a podcast episode? Because not everyone is into live streams. Sometimes they're into podcasts. So in those cases, it's the audio from there and how to do online readings. So again, doing that live stream, I had a couple of ideas and I wrote them down, and I kind of had talking points and everything, and I wrote that down. But again, it's more like general skeleton, and then things would come up as people would ask questions. So that was the first episode, but it almost took longer editing that than it did to do the original broadcast. Again, I'm gotten very used to doing this live stream thing and, making it into something that it wasn't originally, that's what takes the time. The second episode was the Major Arcana in depth on the Fool. So I talked a little bit about the Major Arcana in general and the Fool's journey. That is based upon my Major Arcana in depth series on my blog. So there's that episode. The third episode is how to break in a new tarot deck. That's also based on a blog post that I did where I'm just reading the blog post. So it's kind of like you have an audio version. And in the show notes, I give you a direct link to that blog article. And then the fourth episode, I did want to cover this. The fourth episode that just got released today. So there's a 2-year gap in between episodes. So clearly I haven't been paying attention to my own podcast. This episode is an interview with Helena Dominic on her book, basically asking her questions about her book and illuminated. Hold on. I need to go directly to that episode. Why can't I find it? I will go to episodes. Come on. Published. Thank you. Show notes. Helena wrote a book that came out in April called An Illuminated Guide to Wicca, a Complete Visual Manual. And she was actually reaching out to another group of podcasters who also happens to have a Hilary, and they are called That Witch Life. So that's Courtney Weber, Kanani, and Hilary. And they do a very popular podcast called That Witch Life. And so Helena reached out to them, and for once, wrong Hilary. I know. And I was talking to her before recording the interview that is now live on the Tarot by Hilary podcast. I was just like, I think it was just serendipitous that it's just like, yes, you've reached out to the wrong Hilary, but at the same time, I was just like, oh, wrong Hilary. But yes, I do have a podcast of my own and I would love to have you on it. So it was kind of fortunate in that way. I thought it was funny. It's like wrong Hilary, but also, yes, I do happen to have a podcast. And it's just like, well, I have 2. I have the Cardslingers, but we don't usually interview people because we already have 3 co-hosts. It's a lot. It's a lot of energy. We don't have room for anybody else's energy on the podcast. But I have my own podcast. So I can say with enthusiasm, yes, come onto my podcast. And that was also part of the reason why I wanted to do my own podcast as well, to do my own thing and see how I do on that. So very, very long answer to your question, but also covers a little bit about what I wanted to talk about podcasting. So Katie says, RECC, Cardslingers, sounds healthy. Yes, absolutely. And Katie also says, ring light. It will be perfect when you end up on Twitch. Well, I hope so. Still perfect now. Like I'm starting to use it now. It's in my kitchen because I didn't want to dismantle it and put it into its pouch, but it is very portable, though I will not be carrying it on my, I will not be carrying it with me on my summer vacation. But I set it up. And so most of it is in the kitchen all set up because I didn't want to tear it down again, even though it is pretty easy to set up. So yeah, this is the link to my podcast, anchor.fm/Hilary-Perry-Haggerty. So that is the Tarot by Hilary podcast. Any other questions? Because I feel like I covered a lot just in that. I did want to talk a little bit about my experience with TalkShoe, because TalkShoe was podcasting before podcasting was even like a thing or popular. And I really wish that the episodes that I did were available now. And I tried to get them back. I tried to like restart TalkShoe like over 10 years later. And it's just like, it was just not working. I tried to re-download their app or whatever software there. It just didn't work. But most of the time you can strip out your audio from wherever you're meeting, like Zoom. Like that's part of the reason why I love Zoom, because it automatically, like once you start recording, you record both the if you have a pro plan, I think you can automatically record both audio and video and strip out whatever you need to. And that's actually how I recorded that interview, the newest interview episode on Tarot by Hilary podcast was through Zoom with Helena. So it was very, very easy, actually. I'm going to wait for that comment to pop up from Sophia. How did you decide on the podcasting host you use? I've seen pros and cons of a few. Yeah, I just did my research. And I also used my intuition as well, because like you, deciding on a podcasting host to use. I mean, like first of all, I originally was going to go with TalkShoe and have it be more of like a radio call-in format, and it was just not usable. It was not intuitive at all, and I was just like, was it really this bad? Like way back when I was using it, and maybe it was, but like I didn't know any better. So I went to there first and I was just like, oh no. And I nearly gave up. And then I went and I looked around again. I saw those same pros and cons that you're talking about. And I just had a good feeling about Anchor. And also I like Spotify. Yes, there's issues with Spotify, like anything else. But I wanted something that was, I think I searched like beginner podcasting host recommendations. Because Cardslingers is through Podbean, but we record our episodes through Zoom. And then Jamie's the one that records. And then Kendra is our producer. So she makes us sound amazing. And adds in the cha-chings and adds in the trumpet sounds or the air horn noises or any of the little things that you hear in our podcast, in our shared podcast, that make it fun, and also cleans up our voices too and takes out any background noises. And yeah. So, and Podbean is basically the podcasting host for the Cardslingers Coast to Coast. And I think the reason for that is because Jamie was on a podcast called Tarot Visions for a number of years. And I think that's the podcasting host that they used. So there was a familiarity there. For me, I'm new to it. And this is the podcast that I do for myself. So I just looked introductory or like best recommendations for like beginner podcaster, and what I kept on seeing was Anchor FM kept on popping up. So, and also I just went with my gut and I was just like, okay, let's see what I can do. Played with it a little bit, and then I was just like, oh, okay, well, they've got some transitions in here and I can like click and drag and I can create an intro and I can create an outro, and they're all their own clips. And then you can actually record right in that interface when you're editing an episode. So if you want to quickly record something, you can quickly record something. And actually, when I was complaining about podcasting or having to stumble over 45 seconds of a podcast episode that I was working on, this is not the podcast episode that I'm referring to. So I was working on the next in the series of the major arcana in depth, which is the Magician. So I stumbled over a word and I kept on stumbling over the word, and I'm just like, that's it. So I finally got it right after an hour. But you can just record right in there and then change your inputs to whatever speaker that you're using. I always go with my my Blue Snowball mic because it does help to filter out the sound. But yeah, I used it because it was kinder to a beginner podcaster. So TalkShoe, I don't even know if TalkShoe exists anymore. Does it? Let's look. Yeah, TalkShoe is a community-based podcast hosting, recording, and storage platform that allows users to host or participate in live podcasts that were once called community calls, or simply a call for short. That's the Wikipedia definition of TalkShoe. And it's still there. It's still there. It says start a podcast and walk the talk. Whether it's live or pre-recorded, the TalkShoe podcasting platform has everything you need to be a creator. Yeah, but mine is gone. So my original show was called the Night Goddess Variety Hour. Because I wanted to talk about the things that I wanted to talk about. And I actually did do some live calls, and I did, pull some cards for people. And actually, the only reason I was really on TalkShoe was because the guy I liked, the boy I liked, was also on TalkShoe. And this is someone that I knew in real life. And so I was just like, I want to be cool. I want to be a cool person. I want to be able to hang out with him more. Let me see if I join it and then get recommendations from him. And actually, he was on a couple of episodes. But his now wife came on to my episode because she was a talk shower as well, and called in live, and she was just like, can you pull some cards, because I'm supposed to meet him in real life and I'm kind of hesitant about it. And I'm just like, and I think I pulled the star card. Yeah, and normally I don't remember readings, but I remembered that one. I remembered the star card, and I remembered oh, it's going to be fine. You guys are going to get along great. It's really good. You should just get over your anxiety and meet him. I know that it's weird. I know it's weird to meet someone that you only know through the internet, but this person that you were going, he's my best friend. I've known him for years and years and years. So you're gonna be fine. And yeah, they ended up getting married. They ended up getting engaged within 3 months or 6 months after our thing. So it's just it's not you, it's me. Okay, anytime anyone says it's not you, it's me, it's just no, it's you. And it's just, they're ready to move on and they don't want to hurt your feelings. Just don't lie to a psychic. Geez, really? So yeah, so Sophia says, is that the same one that Cardslingers uses, or is that Podbean? Cardslingers uses Podbean, and I use Anchor for Tarot by Hilary. So 2 different podcasts, 2 different podcast hosts. So Katie says, I know nothing about podcasting, so this is fascinating to me. Awesome. Cool. Oh boy, proto podcast men. Yes, exactly. And which part is wild? The fact that that was his wife, became his wife. Yeah. I'm not too thrilled. So I mentioned this in the newsletter, at least in the PS on the newsletter, where it's just what I'm currently watching. I'm watching this show on Hulu called Maggie. And it's cute. It's cutesy. They lean into the tarot card iconography, even though she doesn't read tarot cards. She's a psychic, and she kind of does this, proximity. But it's cute. It's a cute show. I've been enjoying it. I'm halfway through the first season. Hopefully they make another season. But she ends up the first episode, she ends up doing a reading for someone, for this guy at a wedding that she's hired to do readings at. And she ends up having a vision of oh, well, there's good food, there's questionable fashion choices, there's this. It's just she's getting glimpses, right? And then at one point, you see him, she sees him in the vision, and then she sees herself looking in the mirror. And so she assumes, oh, we're together. And so she doesn't say it to him, but she kind of runs off. And then by circumstances or whatever, they run into each other again. They have kind of a one night stand ish. But then she was wanting to tell him about her vision, and then she holds his hand to like tell him about the vision, and then she gets another vision seeing him marrying somebody else. And so she was just like, this is not going to work out. Like, I saw it. I saw that you're with somebody else. It's not going to work out. And then they like keep on being brought together by circumstance. So it's cute. It's cute. It's called Maggie. It's on Hulu. But like, you know, there's Hollywoodization. And so that's the reason why I sat down to start watching it, and just like, is this actual psychic approved? Like, let me be the judge of that. But actually, some of the things that I was watching, or some of the dialogue, it felt very authentic. And Mr. Tarot by Hilary was sitting next to me, kind of peripherally watching, not really paying attention. But then he was like giving me some side glances, like, ooh, okay. Like, that feels familiar. Like, and I've written about this publicly before, so he's not going to feel bad about me saying this, but like, one of the first times I read for him, he had never had a tarot reading before. And we were just friends at the time. And I read for him, and I got like, again, don't usually remember readings, but I remember like when they're pertinent to me or when they're very powerful, I'll remember. I think it was the Three of Swords, and I think it was a Tower card. There's something else, but like, all the cards kind of indicated like you're in a love triangle right now. And so I kept on like coming back to it. And then other things that I saw for him, like, oh, you're very closed off to people, and you don't really let people in. You've been burned badly before. And, you know, like, this might close you off. And this situation is kind of new to you because you're not really used to like having such strong feelings for the like bunch of stuff, right? And little did I know that he had feelings for me. And I was part of that love triangle. So he was dating someone else, but he had feelings for me. And I didn't know. I was one of the people in the love triangle. Like, what? So watching this show, sitting next to my now husband, he's like giving me the side glances, like, oh, heap big psychic can't see their way through their own visions that include them. I'm like, shut up. Anyway. But yeah, took me back to that whole talk show moment where it's just like, no, you'll have a great time convincing this stranger to meet my best friend at the time that completely ruined our friendship because he was curious about what it would be like to have sex with me. Totally fun. Totally fun. As I sip my beer. So any other questions about podcasting? Because we're getting up to 2.5 hours, which by all means is not our longest episode or our most marathon of sessions. But you know, there's different tools out there. There's and they're good. They're good. They're bad. Some of it is indifferent. It really is about like, what do you want to do with your podcast? And actually, this is probably a good episode that I can show to Mr. Tarot by Hilary, because I think he would be an excellent podcaster. But it is about finding that subject that you're passionate about, that you can speak about for hours and have multiple episodes. And I think that's what he's circling right now. And I mean, like some of you already said, like you've heard his voice peripherally on some of these live streams where it's just like he has a nice, deep, resonant voice. I love his voice. And it is actually kind of surprising because he's like kind of thin. Like you would expect, like, there is a little bit of humor in it too, because it's just like you would not like, obviously his voice matches him physically to me because I don't know any different. Like that's just my husband. But for other people, it sometimes can be jarring because it's just like you look at him and then he opens his mouth and it's just like, oh, like I didn't, like your voice doesn't match what I thought your voice would be. But he has this resonant voice, and sometimes it has been played for laughs before when he's done like theater stuff in college, where, you know, his bodily frame and then the voice that comes out, like it's kind of, it can be comical or can be played for comedy. But that's something that he's circling right now. It's just like, if I did do a podcast, like what would it be about? Because like I like so many different things. And I was just like, well, what about sports? Because like he can talk for hours about sports and he's really well versed. But I think like that is something that sometimes you need to have that baseline to be able to talk about it, to not like have so much dead air, especially if you're doing like live stuff like talk show. But honestly, when you're editing afterwards, you can edit out those moments of dead air, you know? Yeah. I think there are some points where you should have like a good baseline about what you're going to talk about and possibly what you're going to say or the topics that you're going to cover. I think what he should do is like his nickname talks and then blank, and have it be more open and have it be more of a conversation. I've also said to him, like, do you feel like you can one hand it, like it's just you talking about it, or do you need somebody to co-host with you so you can like bounce ideas off of? And so I was just like, I'd be happy to fill in. I would be happy to do that. And it's just like, and I have some experience now because of the Cardslingers. Regarding the situation with Talk Shoe Boy, I'm gonna call him Talk Shoe Boy. Why not? Sophia said, felt that, and I predicted 2 breakups of mine, ignored it both times. Maybe one day I'll learn. Yeah, it's like sometimes it's hard for us. It's hard for us. And that like comes up a lot in that show that I was talking about, Maggie, where it's just like, you know, that I can't see my own love life, you know, it's just like, and that is kind of like that karmic irony, where it's just like we can see a lot of things for other people, but sometimes we're blocked from seeing it ourselves. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't read tarot for ourselves. But again, going back to that concept of objectivity and not getting so emotionally attached or involved, where we're starting to like, is it what I want to hear or is it what I need to hear? I mean, clients will do that to us, but we do it to ourselves too. Don't mean to shake the desktop there. Anything else about podcasting? So I can give a couple of recommendations too. So yes, notes, especially like it really depends. If you're podcasting with somebody else, you can have more of a rough outline. Let me switch back over to if you're podcasting with other people, you can have more of a rough outline and kind of bounce ideas off of each other and have more of a conversation. And that really has become what the Cardslingers is. And also like the ability to mute each other. And I mean, I think we were a little bit mute happy on some of the more latest podcasts, because like podcast episodes, because Melissa was just like, why do you let me talk over you guys? Like, don't let me talk over you, like mute me. And it's just like, okay. And it's just like, no, not like that, you assholes. So we started to use the mute button as punishment or just to be dicks. And it's comedic and it felt very natural in that episode, but also like we might have gotten in trouble with Kendra. Just like, guys, don't do like the quality of the audio, like stop, like don't keyboard when you're like, if you need to mute yourself if you're typing in, because then I have to I have to remove the noise from the keyboard typing and amp up like Hilary's voice track or Jamie's or Melissa's, you know. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Katie says it was funny. It was. It was almost like watching Melissa out of like a fishbowl. And also that related to like, I know people have been asking us about like the anniversary episode, like the 50 episodes, which has come and gone. And we totally acknowledged it, you know, like that we were going to do it. But at the same time, like we haven't gotten around to it yet, but we were thinking about doing like a live recorded episode. You heard it here first. So have you guys be in the peanut gallery, pay for tickets, and yeah. But we haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I think that would be hilarious, and we might not only do that the one time because it is fun, and we just monitor and make sure that everybody is muted except for the three of us. Maybe have like a green room and you know be able to ask some questions of us um before the show, after the show. So, you know, yeah. Melissa in a fishbowl, like that's kind of what we were seeing, where she's like yapping, but we couldn't. It's like, no, I can't. Oh, I can't hear you. we were mean. We were mean about it, um, but that's the difference as well. Knowing the personalities of the people that you want to podcast with, it's like, are you working with other people where that sense of like dead air isn't there? Or, doing it on your own. Like doing it on your own, like definitely I feel like I need to have more of a script. Like when I'm doing a podcast episode that's based on a blog post, like I'm reading verbatim from that blog, from that text, and like that's the show notes, really. But also you don't want to have so many hosts that like it's complete chaos. So that's part of the reason why, like, people have reached out to us and asked, like, can I come on the Cardslingers? And we're just like, no. And it's not to be mean or anything, it's just because it's too much energy for people. And I mean, like, I know that Witch Life, they can manage it, but like we can't. It's just a different podcast, it's a different energy. Like we can't have more than 3 people on our podcast, and that's our regular host. It's me, it's Melissa, it's Jamie. I kind of want to cite the prog rock band Rush, where it's just like Rush isn't Rush without those 3 people. It's kind of the same with the Cardslingers Coast to Coast podcast. It's not us without all 3 of us. And I mean, there was a time when we were podcasting where Melissa was like really, really sick, where she couldn't record. And so for those times, then we brought in like, guest hosts, like Honoreo, like we were going to have Sarah Kate on, and we haven't had her on yet. We've had Honoreo, and we've had V from Red Light Readings, but we haven't had anybody else. So, but we did that in conjunction with the kitchen table gathering, because those were the teachers that were going to be teaching for that, kitchen table gathering that was coming up. So it was like kind of part promotional vehicle, but also, hey, we need someone to step in and talk about this topic. Like, how would you feel? Do you want to talk about this topic? What are the topics that you're comfortable talking about? What are the topics that you're not comfortable talking about? Or do you want to fill in, or whatever? And so those were the only times that we had guest co-hosts or guest hosts. And then like immediately after one of them would come on, like we would get a flood more of like requests. And it's just like, no, like, yes, our general policy is this, and it's the 3 of us, and there's no guests, but it's just like, we decide that, 1, and 2, this is a extenuating circumstance. Melissa is so sick that she can't record, but these are the teachers that are going to be at the kitchen table gathering. So we want to be able to give them a way to promote that fact that they're going to be at the kitchen table gathering. You should get yourself a ticket so that you can hear them speak and, get a class from them. So, it's hard sometimes. Like, just because you have a podcast doesn't mean like it's like carte blanche, everyone comes onto your podcast. Like, you decide. You have to, Katie says it worked having a guest when one of you was missing, but 3 is good. Yeah. More than that, it would be too much. We talk over each other as is. don't need more of that. Sophia says, my tarot coven has been dying to start one, but I wonder how our group of 5 would work out outside of our Zoom meetings. Yeah, I think that's too many. You may want to designate certain people or like tag in where it's just like, it's still your tarot coven. But you may have to be like, hey, this is the Tarot Coven podcast where we talk about different tarot topics. There are 5 of us, like 5, find out more information about each and every one of us on our show page. But each episode will have 2 of us discussing a topic and, round robin it, rotate out. Because 5 of you, and I mean, like, you can still do snippets too. That's another thing that I wanted to cover. So thank you for the reminder, whether it's tangentially or not. Think about how long you want your podcast episodes to be, because there are some podcasters that it's just like, if I feel like it's a chore to sit down and listen to an episode or go for a walk and listen to an episode, like, then I'm just not going to listen to the episode at all. So like some people have put out podcast episodes that are like 3 hours in length. And it's just like, that's too long for a podcast. And like Kendra, like the shadow or the threat of Kendra keeps us tight with the Cardslinger podcast, because most of the time we've gotten feedback where it's just like, what are you doing when you're listening to our episodes? Are you commuting? Are you cleaning? Are you doing? And most of our listeners are usually putting us on, like popping in their headphones and putting us on as they're cleaning or doing errands or what have you. And so half an hour, like no more than a half an hour, is usually our time designation for most of our podcast episodes, because otherwise it gets too long and too unwieldy. I mean, I'm saying this as I'm looking at the clock and seeing that this episode is 2 hours and 40 minutes so far. So it's a little bit of a different thing with the live stream, but if I saw that the episode on podcasts was 2 hours and 40 minutes, I probably wouldn't sit down and listen to it at all. So this is actually a good part of live streaming, is that you can take this episode and whittle it down, cut away all the filler, cut away the Astro Biz Digest and the weekend forecast, cut away any of the transitional points or saying that like, hey, honey, can you grab me a beer? Like, you can take all of that stuff out if you're readying it to be a podcast episode. And then also you can slice it into parts as well. It doesn't have to be one singular podcast episode that's 2 hours and 40 minutes in length. It could be a series of podcast episodes. Speaking of that, the latest Cardslingers Coast to Coast episode that we just published is going to be a 6-part series of episodes on pricing, basically, which we've been working on for a while. That got asked about like 2 years ago. So we're just like, I think I say it in the podcast. I was like, it's fine. We're getting to it now. Whatever. It's like, it's not trying to be flippant or anything, but it was just like, we had other things to talk about. And pricing is such like a hard proposition, and it's too big a topic to be able to cover in one episode. So we talked, we actually did acknowledgement in this episode that just came out. We tried to record that episode and tried to do it into one episode, and it didn't work. And we were just like, scrub this mission. I don't like it. I don't like how we sounded. I feel like we just sounded too strained and rushed and glib and this. And it's just like, no, we need to get deeper on this one. So we threw out the original recording and we started over. And for that, we know that it's going to be a 6-part episode series because we planned it out. Can't remember who asked. I think it might have been Katie. Do we need notes? Like, absolutely, we need notes, because we need to keep on referring back to those notes as we're recording to be like, wait, which episode are we doing right now? Is it the journeyman? Is it the beginner? Is it this? And offline, without recording, we discussed a little bit first. So we got the kind of the bare bones of it so that we felt ready and prepared to actually do the recording. And I feel like you're never going to hear that scrubbed episode, but you are going to hear the difference in this episode where we're just like, and we joke around, of course, but so like here, like this is the introduction of what to charge. And we acknowledge, welcome to the long-awaited series on what to charge for your gifts and readings. How letting you know how this will go, some of our stories from the trenches, other things to consider before you jump straight into making tarot a business. Thanks to our listener who came in and asked, being off book for 3 years, what can I start charging others for a reading? And our formula takes the following into consideration. Where are you located? How long have you been reading for? And how much do you want to make? And of course, we give homework too. So, but yeah, you can split it up. You know, like don't be married to all 5 of you talking, Sophia. Round robin it, switch out, ask, you know, like what topics do we want to cover? What topics, like, all right, what do you like poll everyone. What are your signature topics? What are your topics of expertise? What do you feel comfortable talking for at least a half an hour on or 15 minutes on? Make it a 2-hander and then round robbing it out. Cool. That makes sense. Good. Yeah, exactly. So Sophia is saying, love astrology podcast, but it's long. Yeah, it's just like, I better strap in with my Sherpa to get myself through this episode. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, and also you have to remember, not only are you putting the time it takes into the recording, but also how much time it takes to edit the recording. Like, use me as an excellent example for the freaking vlog for the newsletter. Like, that took me hours to do, and it's only 16 minutes in length, which you might think is not very long, but it took me hours to be able to edit that and put in the music, and then also figure out, oh no, MailChimp doesn't accept uploading of that particular file format. Like, yeah. And yep, excellent point, Katie. Teresa's astrology ones, put in the ass in astrology. Teresa's astrology ones are shorter, yes, and that's something that she's complained about to me before. She was just like, these podcast episodes are too long. That's the reason why she calls them astrology bites and tarot bites, BYTES. She always wants those episodes to be no more than 10 minutes in length. And I've actually been on at least one episode of the Tarot Bites podcast where we talked about missing cards. And that was based upon a guest post that I did on her website talking about missing cards, what the cards are saying when they're not there, when they're not present in a reading, and what that could mean. And that guest post translated into a podcast episode with Teresa, and also chapter 7 of Courtney Weber's book, Tarot for One, The Art of the Self-Read, or The Art of Reading for Yourself. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing how content can shift between these different mediums and still be completely usable and completely valid. And, you know, I wrote that blog post a long time ago, and it still kept on paying off for me. Like, some of this stuff, some of these topics for tarot, they're evergreen. You can talk about them forever and always learn something new. I think that's a good part about podcasting. So any other questions about podcasting? Specifics, not so specific? Because I'm going to move into winding us down to the weekend forecast, but also I do want to talk a little bit about podcasts that I like besides the 2 that I am a part of. Cardslingers Coast to Coast, wherever you subscribe to your podcast. I think we're on most podcasting platforms. And Tarot by Hilary, the Tarot by Hilary podcast. And like getting in on a podcast, like as it's in its infancy, oh, it's so good, because then you feel like, oh my God, I have to catch up. Like, this is too much. I mean, even with Cardslingers, we're relatively new, but geez, 59 episodes. Like, if you're getting into it now, like, and that doesn't mean you can't go in and enjoy episode 59 without hearing any of the ones, the 58 before it. Like, you can drop in whatever podcast episode that you want to hear, whatever topic you want to hear about, and not feel like you've really missed out on anything. You know, it's not like a TV series, at least not in my opinion. Unless, of course, your podcast is based on a TV series. Speaking of New Girl, couple of other podcasts that I like, and doesn't have to necessarily relate to tarot or mystical stuff. I'm really enjoying it's a New Girl podcast. And I think it's called Apartment 4D. I'm gonna look. Relatively, yeah, Apartment 4D, a New Girl podcast. So I'm liking that. I've only listened to a couple of episodes of that, but I'm enjoying that. There's also another New Girl podcast that's just called Welcome to Our Show. And that is from the actual actors that are in New Girl. I'm going to pull that up. So Zooey Deschanel, Hannah Simone, and Lamorne Morris. So it's three actors of the core group. So Zooey Deschanel plays the main New Girl, Jessica Day. Hannah Simone plays Cece Parikh, and Lamorne Morris plays Winston Bishop. So it's enjoyable. And I actually, Apartment 4D got a shout out in Welcome to Our Show because they wanted to name their podcast Apartment 4D, and it was already taken by another New Girl podcast. So I liked that. That Witch Life, I've already mentioned. That is, I'm going to pull up that, go back. Witch Life. Oh my God, their icon is so cute. Oh, wow. I thought that they had, oh, never mind. For a second there, they were featuring, they featured an episode. So I was just like, what? They're only on episode 60? No, that's not the case. They have 144 episodes. Wow. But theirs is a little bit longer. So, like one episode is like an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 21 minutes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these episodes I haven't listened to because they're just so long. And no offense to the hosts of That Witch Life podcast. No offense. We just know, Cardslingers knows our audience. And it may be the same people and it may be different people, but we know that 30 minutes is about all that they can particularly take. So I get it. I understand. Katie says, with Cardslingers podcast, I have skipped around episodes to ones that interested me at the time. I like that the format you do makes that possible. Thank you. Thank you. We try. We do really try. We have so many things planned. Like, and we do want to do it all, but at the same time, we acknowledge that we can't necessarily do it all. Like, I'm gonna look at our, so we the way that we plan our stuff is in like shared documents so that we can all see it at the same time. And also Jamie focuses us a lot by saying, hey, we planned on recording this episode today, or how are we feeling? Do we want to do two? Do we want to do more than two? Do we want to do three? Trying to pull it up. Okay. Yeah, general format. So like, and here's another thing, like talking about bullet points for different episodes. Not only do you want to create bullet points for each episode, but you also want to create like a general format as well for like, what's your publishing schedule? You don't want it to be random or haphazard. You want to have like a general publishing episode so that people kind of know when to expect new episodes will drop. And also that keeps you honest. It keeps you honest and it keeps you consistent. Like, for example, for Cardslingers, we've got a section in our shared documents where we have general format stuff, like keeping it to 30 minutes or less, our recording schedule and when we record episodes, when we post, guests if someone is sick only. So I already talked about that. But like, at this point with our podcasting for Cardslingers, like the general format stuff is kind of like in my head already. It's in my subconscious, so I don't really have to think about it, but it is really good to be able to have it in black and white in writing so that we all know what the parameters are. No one can feel bad about it because we all communicated about it. I think my earbuds might be dying. Let's see. Yeah, so we started this year, 2022, with episode 56, I think. No. Yes? No. 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 No, that's not it. Sorry. I misspoke. I'm gonna look. So our first episode was like the welcome episode in I thought it was 29. Well, we really started recording episodes in 2019 for release in 2020. So yeah, no, the first episode of 2022 was episode 47, We're Back. And how can I say this so quickly? It's because we do have that shared document that we go to. So we know where we've come from, what we've recorded, and where we want to go. And yes, absolutely, Katie. It's very similar to having online meetings. Yep. And the having those meeting guidelines. Yeah, or having an agenda. Like my past life in corporate. When I would get meeting requests with no agenda, I really wanted to decline them. But sometimes I wasn't allowed to. It's just like, you can't invite me to all these meetings with no agendas. Like, that's not cool. You could be going forever. Like, and it's not like fun, like this kind of thing here, where we've been going through for almost 3 hours and everyone's fine and no one cares. And like, by all means, you can drop out and stop watching the live stream whenever you want to. But like when you're in a work environment, like, haha, you don't get a choice. Like I have been in meetings over Zoom or on Teams where it's just like, I need to go to the bathroom. I didn't expect this to be a 2-hour meeting. Like a 2-hour meeting with no agenda. Like that's crazy. When are you actually getting your work done? When are you actually living your life? Not cool. Sorry. Let me close up that document. So yeah, episode 47 of We're Back. That was a very spunky, snarky episode. New year, new us. We're back and feeling spunky. And by the way, like some of these write-ups that we do that become the show notes, they're written after the fact. So we have that general guideline, but then we'll take out that general guideline and then we'll listen to the episode and Jamie will fill in. Like, oh, we said this. Oh, we recommended this book. Oh, we recommended this deck. And also now with recording on Zoom, I think there's a live transcription that goes along with it that we're trying to provide for those people that are hard of hearing or deaf. So we're trying to evolve our podcast as we're able to. It's very important. It's very important to be able to provide almost another form of being able to consume our content by those people that are not able to like hear the audio. Let's see what else. Yeah, decks we mentioned in that episode: Tarot for Kids, Guide to the Strange and Eternal Tarot deck. That was a Kickstarter. There's no more copies left. I bought a copy for Melissa, and I still have to send it out to her. The Meme Tarot. Yep. And also listener questions. Like, you got to listen to the people that are consuming this. Like, if you don't listen to the feedback, like, you got nothing. Like, these live streams, like, it's crazy. Guys, you are crazy in the best way that some of you stay for this long in a live stream just because you're having fun. Like, that means the world to me. But, like, you got to listen to I wouldn't be doing this if not for you. Like, listen to your audience. If you want to do listener questions, like, by all means do it. Like, I'm experimenting right now with Anchor. I do like that Anchor has an option for listener feedback where people can actually record a listener feedback and then you can include it into your next episode. So I love that. So I was just like, oh, where's the link for that? And so I made sure to include that link to solicit listener feedback by recording it like on the latest episode that I published. Where is it? It's pretty easy to distinguish my podcast from everybody else's visually. And by the way, I do usually slap on it an E explicit warning because, I'm a swear bear. It's not like I'm talking about anything inappropriate. It's just I'm a swear bear and I don't want to have to censor myself. But yeah, do you like what you're hearing? Send feedback to me at Hilary@tarotbyhilary.com or send a voice message. Let me put that into the chat too. Why not? So, like, if you listen to the episode and you want to provide feedback, especially the episode that I just posted, the interview with Lena, you can go straight to that link. You can go straight to that link, anchor.fm, and it's basically, the URL that you would get for the main podcast show notes, and then / message. And then I can take your recording and I can just slap it into the next podcast episode, or a podcast episode where I actually address your listener questions before I move into that particular topic. I would love to be able to do that. And there's the technology there to do that too. Like even as an example here on Be Live, like testing out that guest link that Sophia was nice enough to jump on and test it out for us so that we can see the possibilities. Like, guess what? That was pretty easy from my end. And it was nice to be able to experiment with it and see like what's happening here. I mean, the same thing with the vlog. It's an experiment. Like, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to be human. Slap things against the wall. As long as you're having fun doing it. Like, please have fun doing it. Podcasting is not for you, then don't do it. Do something else. There's room for everything, everyone and everything. Like, I didn't think that live streaming was going to be this fun 3 years ago. I didn't even think I would be doing it this long. But yet here we are. All right, I think we got to wrap up. I'm definitely going to put in jump links for this episode. and have to listen to almost every bit of this episode to be able to put in the correct jump links for everything that we talked about, not just podcasting. So let me put up my widget here. Just a reminder, let's put up my thing and the thing with the thingy thing. I sound like my mother when I say that. So it's time to ring the bell. My grandfather's bell. Props are really fun too. Talking about podcasting and live streaming. Props are fun. They grab attention. So I'm ringing the bell. Follow, subscribe, click on the bell for notifications the next time we go live. But most of the time, we go live every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a metaphysical topic of my choice or your choice. And not every episode is 3 hours in length, folks. So if this happens to be the first replay or the first live stream that you're seeing, like, rest assured, you can get a lot of information about many of these episodes in the replays or on the lives, and you don't have to attend each and every one. You don't have to attend for the entire length of the live stream. It's okay. I get it. I'm kind of crazy, but then again, so is my crew that rolls here too. Apparently, I have the charisma of a cult leader without the weird tendencies. I'm not going to make you drink Kool-Aid that's poisoned, okay? No. To each their own. Anyway, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really should grab my planner just to see what we have planned for next week, because I know I wrote it down for next week. So if you'll indulge me, I'm going to go grab my planner so that I can tell you what we're doing for next week before we move into the weekend forecast. While I'm showing this, please think about where you want your weekend forecast to be from. Do you want the Super Attractor? Do you want the Spirit Junkie Oracle deck? Do you want the Visionary Oracle? Do you want the Reflective Tarot? Do you want the Work Your Light Oracle cards? Do you want Moonology? I have all of those that I just listed to hand right now. So you let me know in the chat. You guys can fight it out yourselves. And I will be right back so that I can tell you what we're talking about next week. Oh, my butt's asleep. Are you watching that recipe yet? Yes. Purple. I just want to start out coming over and say what we're talking about next week. Did you eat? Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you ate. You know, already on there. Can we watch some more episodes of Maggie when I'm done? Okay. I love you. I don't know if any of you heard that exchange. Oh, my butt's asleep. Oh, it's so bad. This chair is not. This is a bistro chair with a very thin pillow that's meant to be used like as patio furniture. Oh, my butt. My butt, my butt, my butt. So we have a vote for reflective. Anybody else? Any other takers? Which is totally fun. We can totally do the reflective tarot. I don't mind. Oh, good. Katie says, only heard, love you. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. I mean, I didn't say anything untoward. I just wanted to make sure that he ate something. And I was asking him if we could watch more episodes of Maggie when I was done. So he's been having a rough time, folks. I feel for him. Okay. Okay, cool. So for July, actually, do you want to hear the entirety of July? Why not? So last week was not a live show. We did creating a psychic journal. So it was like not live, but new to you episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, if you had any questions, from that particular episode, like you can feel free to like ask me or put it in the comments on the Tube of You or the Book of Face. I'd be happy to answer them. However, my answers are going to be text-based in nature instead of a live stream. This episode, of course, on podcasts and much more than just podcasts. Next week's going to be a fun one. Yes. Okay, good. My memory is coming back to me. I haven't completely lost my mind yet. Next week is going to be a fun one that has nothing to do with tarot or divination or intuition or psychicism or, foreseeing death in the cards or, what do I do when I have to break up with a client? Actually, that would be a good topic for an episode. How do I break up with clients gently and professionally? You just do it and you pay them to go away. If you need to refund them so that you don't have to deal with them anymore. That's the quickest answer I can muster about that. Next week, Friday, July 15th. This is actually an episode that is one that I thought of, but I feel like there's a little bit of listener request in it. We are reviewing some of my pandemic purchases. Fun pandemic purchases. And they might be divination related, but most of it is about hair care and possibly jewelry and possibly makeup and possibly skincare and who knows. What do you guys think about that? I want to know if you like that idea. You like that idea? I'm actually wearing three. I'm wearing 3 pandemic purchases right now. Okay, Sophia says yes, please. Good. I thought it would be a fun episode to break up the monotony. By the way, those 3 purchases, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about it. Number 1, my headphones. Yep. I thought so. See, I know my audience. Pandemic purchases would be fun. Yes, and I want you to come with yours too. We've all had some fun ones. Yes. Though I'm surprised that I didn't give in and buy Sugar Me Smooth, like a sugar waxing hair removal kit. I've been eyeing it, but I didn't end up doing it. Maybe because it's not that much fun to be able to rip the hair. Does that need talking myself into it or talking myself out of it? Anyway, one of the things that I'm right now is my headphones from UE Ultimate Ears, wireless headphones. That's one. My upgraded Fitbit. That's 2. And this sweater right here is from Stitch Fix. Like literally when I didn't even think about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I think I might have even gotten my social light stuff as a pandemic purchase too. My clamp light and my ring light stand. Anyway, it's going to be a fun episode. I'm glad you agree that it's going to be a fun episode, and bring your own pandemic purchases with you to that episode. I would love to hear about it. And I may bring some of you on camera for that now that we know that the link works. Katie, you don't have to do that. I know it's morning in Australia when you're watching these live streams. So on the 22nd, July 22nd, the last show of the month is going to be on human design. And again, I'm not a human design reader. I know just enough for my own design, but the other week when I did a live stream over the gram of Insta, people were really fascinated about it. And I'm going to see if I can. Let me grab a pen. See if maybe Meg's available to come on and talk a little bit about human design. If not, I will give resources to people that are actual human design readers. But the live stream that I did on the gram of Insta, people were very interested in human design. So Katie says, I could do audio, but yeah, my looks are more than just bedhead, lol. No judgment. No judgment here. And then the 29th, there will be no show because I'll be in Amsterdam at that time. Isn't that crazy? Like, we've been looking forward to this trip for a while. Not as far as a year, but a while. And Mom was messaging me, and my messages were coming through to my Fitbit saying, like, I got a mani-pedi appointment that week. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very exciting. So that is the rest of the episodes for the month of July. I'll give you a quick rundown for August, since there's going to be a few episodes that we're not able to do in August because I am going to be away until mid-August. So there's going to no show on August 5th, no show on August 12th. And the August 19th show, I think, is going to be a trip recap. Because why not? Like, y'all know that I'm going to be gone. And hopefully I'll be able to recap it in a way where, like, I have pictures and I'm able to say, like, hey, I got to meet some people. It's really cool. Like, welcome to the Tarot by Hilary crew. Like, it's so nice to be able to put a name to a face and enjoy your beautiful country. You know, I do love traveling. I don't feel like I loved traveling when I was younger, only because both of my parents are from England and my entire family's from England. I'm the only one born in the United States out of my entire family. Most people don't know that. It doesn't really translate well in my speaking voice or my accent. Don't have it. I don't have the British accent. I'm sorry that I don't. I can't even fake a good one. It's the tragedy of my life. Because people do not believe me until they meet my mother, and they're just like, wow, you weren't kidding. I'm just like, why would I kid or lie about that? Like, it's not just me trying to be like, literally, like, here's my English mom. But when we would travel when I was younger, we would just go back to England and visit our family there. And like, that's not really a vacation. That's not really a vacation. That's not really traveling. It's like, I've seen the finest living rooms in the UK. That's been my experience of traveling up until like my adult life. So showed that already. Katie says traveling is so exciting, but with so much a break, it is doubly exciting. Yes. Yeah, because our big Baltic Sea cruise, that was in 2019. And I mean, like, obviously there's very obvious reasons why we haven't traveled until now. And like, it's completely different traveling now because we have to like there's testing that needs to be done. There's continued testing that needs to be done. Not only that, but we had to like actually order tests to be delivered here, leave enough time that we get them so that we can pack them so that we can test in our hotel room before we get on the cruise ship. And those are like proctored virtually too. Like, that's the only acceptable test. And a wellness check that we have to do when we're embarking. Katie says sitting rooms, as my UK friend always corrects me. Okay, well, I've been in the United States too long, but yeah, sitting rooms. You know, my favorite part about visiting my family is, it's going to be stupid, but I'm going to say it. The furnaces. And it's not like, they're not like, well, they're, I don't know. What are they called? Like, Kitty, what are they called? Like, they look almost fake, right? Aren't they? Like, they're not fireplaces, but they look like little squat furnaces. And they're not space heaters either. But that's what I always like. I would just curl up next to it and just like toast my fingers and my hands. I know, it's silly. And then of course the chocolate and the candy and the sweet shop. I would go down to where my grandmother lived. There was a sweet shop on the corner. And so I could, like, she would give me a couple of pence, or however much she could give me, to give me like a little bit of candy, not a lot of candy, not like, and I would go down to the sweet shop and I would get myself, oh gosh, what were they called? They were like peach candies. I'm gonna mess it up. I would also like to get the saucers. I also like crunchies. That's not changed. And possibly I would get a Beano or a Dandy, which are the comics. God, I hope we didn't throw out my Beanos or Dandies. I'm gonna be mad. Like I probably did, just to purge things out, but this probably cost a lot of money now. Sophia, it's not a wood stove. I'm not going to remember it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so do you mean radiators that are connected to the hot water system that travels through the house? No, not necessarily, because we do have radiators here. Actually, our radiators are on the ceiling here in my apartment in the United States. So not radiators technically, but they were like electric fireplaces. I think that's what they really were. Or not electric stove, electric fireplaces, I think. Then again, anytime I would travel over there, that was like 80s to mid 90s. So this is a while ago. Anyway, so I think we're doing a trip recap on August 19th when I'm back. And then on August 26th, that's going to be the anniversary show. 3 years. 3 years of doing this shit. Crazy. So mark your calendars now. Looking forward to it. And we will probably revisit some past episodes, or your favorite past episodes. It's kind of wild. Like I'm trying to not have an ego about it, and be very grateful for it. But also not be so humble, but also, have a little bit of confidence about it. That like, you like me, you really like me. Borrowing Sally Field's Oscar speech. And Destiny is here. So let me say hello to Destiny and also answer the question. So I am going to take away. So again, Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on most weeks. That's when we broadcast. And you've gotten the rundown of the different topics that we're going to be covering on each of these. So let's get into the weekend forecast. And also let me answer Destiny. Can I get a reading, please? Well, you came to the right place now, because we're doing the weekend forecast for the collective. So if this reading is pertinent to you for the weekend forecast, so much the better. If it doesn't speak to you, then you may want to just book a private reading with me at tarotbyhilary.com. I would be happy to read your cards for you. We have different reading options available: phone, Skype, Zoom, email. So feel free to book a reading at tarotbyhilary.com. So weekend forecast. We are going to pull from the Reflective Tarot because Sophia suggested it. And Katie says, we enjoy your lives. Thank you so much. I enjoy doing them. Hopefully you can tell that I enjoy doing them. Okay. Reflective Tarot, based on the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, but shiny. Ooh, that's a card that is jumping. So we got a jumper here. Ooh, far-reaching stuff going on. So the weekend forecast for this weekend, from Friday, July 8th to the 10th, Sunday, July 10th. Keep in mind that at the top of the episode, we did have astrology from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. So go back to the replay and take note of Saturday, that it's just like, it's best to lay low on Saturday. Okay. But we have the Two of Wands. Look at that shine. I do like the reflective tarot. I do. My one gripe about this deck is that it doesn't have silver edges. So it's like shiny on here, but there's no shine on the back and there's no shine on the sides. So we've got the Two of Wands. So let me pull from the little white book. Let's see if I agree or disagree. Most of the time I have not been agreeing with the little white book for this. So physical descriptions, you can see a tall man looks from the battlement roof over sea and shore. He holds a globe in his right hand and a staff in his left, rests on the battlement. Another is fixed in a ring. The rose and cross and lily should also be noticed on the left side. Yes, that's true. My fingers were covering it. So divinatory meetings from the little white book. Between the alternative readings, there is no marriage possible. I don't know where that comes from. On the one hand, riches, fortune, and magnificence, and on the other, physical suffering, disease, chagrin, sadness, mortification. The design gives one suggestion. Here is a lord overlooking his dominion and is alternately contemplating a globe. It looks like the malady, the mortification, the sadness of Alexander amidst the grandeur of this world's wealth. Suffice it to say, no me gusta. Let's see. Where does this come from? Based upon the original and only authorized edition of the famous 78 card Rider-Waite tarot deck. Instructions excerpted from The Key to the Tarot by Arthur Edward Waite. Yeah, okay. I'm going to disagree with A.E. Waite on this one. Sorry. I mean, I get that whole balancing act between the joy and the sadness of this world. I get that for the twos, you know. Yeah, Katie says that sounds more like a comment about the Emperor. I assure you. That's the Two of Wands interpretation. It's not the Emperor. Again, most of the time I have been disagreeing with the little white book that comes with this particular deck. So my interpretation of the Two of Wands coming up, first of all, it's coming up upright. So I feel like we have more control over the situation, but it is also a two, and it's the Two of Fire. Like, remember that all of the suits have their elemental associations. So in this case, Wands is the suit of fire, and the twos are usually about the balancing. Like, Two of Pentacles is usually about the struggle of the juggle, more related to finances and work. The Two of Swords is like a decision, analytical decision may need to be made, and it also may need to be made from your intuition rather than what you're seeing. What else? Two of Cups is usually a choice of the heart or about partnership. And the Two of Wands is about the fire, the will, the drive, the why you do what you do is the Wands suit. For the two, it's about contemplating, do I stay or do I go? Do I lead with the staff over here that is not affixed to something versus getting stuck here? See, that's fixed to the ramparts, you know, like, and the world, like, he's contemplating the globe. He's just like, do I want to go out there and make some stuff happen and be completely unmoored, or do I want to have that stability of that fixed staff behind me? And usually with the twos, it is this balance. You know, it's neither one thing or another. It's just like, why can't I have both? Why can't I go out into the world, but also have a home to come back to? It's very interesting that I was talking about my travel plans and traveling before pulling this card. And it could speak to that too. Like, what's the difference between traveling to a place versus living there? So if you're thinking about those particular themes for this weekend, then this card is for you. You know, what makes a home a home? What makes a place a travel destination? It's just like that phrase of it's nice to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. That's kind of what's coming up for me with the Two of Wands. It might not be the most traditional of interpretations, but that's what I'm seeing in this card. I also am getting another intuitive hit too, where it's just like you can't run away from your problems. Like you can't travel away from your problems. You can't relocate away from your problems. You can't go on vacation to get away from your problems, because your problems will be awaiting you whenever you come back. And I'm also remembering something that our therapist said to us about energy and relationships. Like, if a couple can't get along on a vacation, like that's a problem, because the vacation, like that you have the stressors of your work life or your everyday life like taken away from you. So it's just like, here's you existing in your relationship without any outside stressors. If you're still fighting without those outside stressors, then that's a bad sign. Makes sense, everybody? Or does it have the possibility of making sense again? This is the weekend forecast. So there you go. Two of Wands from the Reflective Tarot. All right, another marathon session tonight. Thank you all for bearing with me, especially putting out a reprint or a retraction for the newsletter. I'm so glad that you guys were able to tell me about that firsthand and live, so I was able to correct it really quickly. Because I hope I'll be able to do that again, the vlog stuff. Okay, weekend forecast done. Let me hide this and take away this widget. Okay, my butt really is asleep. So Sophia says, makes sense. Awesome. All right, well, that's it for tonight's episode. I thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. I hope it helped you if you're thinking about podcasting or listening to different podcasts, seeing what goes into podcasts too, because, you know, however long the runtime is on an episode of a podcast that you love, like just know that it usually takes double or triple the amount of time to be able to produce that. So have some appreciation and gratitude for that. And if you're thinking about doing a podcast of your own or with somebody else, like, you know, take some of my tips to heart and, you know, set yourself up for success and make sure you've got your expectations discussed from the get-go, so that there are no hard feelings, or so friendships don't suffer because of the podcast that you're doing. So next week we will talk about pandemic purchases. So come on back next week, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Let's talk about those fun pandemic purchases. I want to hear about all of them, and I will share my own too. So Katie says, thank you. Have a good weekend. Think I'm going to be a hermit for Saturday. I agree. I will also be a hermit for Saturday as well. And Sophia is also saying good night. And Destiny, I hope you got the reading that you needed. And if you want to book another private one, tarotbyhilary.com. So once again, I do these lives every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and psychic, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, you have intuition too. I believe that everybody in this whole great big wide world has intuition. Have a fabulous weekend and a very good night, and see you next week. Bye.